Downtown Pittsburgh shimmering on this crisp October night. And across from Point Park sits Three Rivers Stadium, home of the Steelers. A full house looking on tonight as the Steelers take on the Atlanta Falcons. Al Michaels with Boomer Esiason and Leslie Visser. The biggest surprise of all in 1998 in the NFL was the Atlanta Falcons. 14-2 and on to the Super Bowl, but 99 has been a disaster. They are 1-5. They've lost Jamal Anderson for the season, the great running back, and Chris Chandler has not been healthy until tonight. But he's a big key, and he's the quarterback who Dan Reeves hopes can jumpstart this team. Meanwhile, the Pittsburgh Steelers are like a lot of teams in the wild and wacky NFL this year. A little of this, a little of that, and a lot of inconsistency. But Coach Bill Cowher feels they're on the precipice of something big. And Jerome Bettis is coming off his best game of the season, 111 yards on the ground against Cincinnati last week. So it's the Steelers and the Falcons from Pittsburgh on Monday Night Football.
This game is also being broadcast in HDTV in cooperation with Fantasy. For tonight's game can be heard using the SAP feature on your TV set where available. Brought to you by National Car Rental.
Beautiful clear night in Pittsburgh. Temperature in the low 50s and a full house. And Boomer, the Atlanta Falcons come to town. Dan Reeves has seen a lot of things. He's been a head coach in the NFL since '81. But what do you do with a team that goes to the Super Bowl one year and is 1-5 at the start of the next season?
Well, Al, there's on-the-field strategy and there's in-the-locker-room strategy. And the in-the-locker-room strategy starts with Chris Chandler, his quarterback. He had a heart-to-heart talk with him this week. And he said, look, I need you more than just a half of a game. You have to stay in the football game. You are the key to our offense. As everybody knows, the quarterback is what runs a team. The emotional part on the field, really, when you talk about strategy, he's going to make a change at wide receiver. He's going to bring in his exciting punt returner, kick returner, Tim Dwight, and start him at wide receiver. Hopefully that will give them a big play opportunity to go down the field with.
As far as the Steelers are concerned, the mark of a good team is win on the road. They've done that. But what in the world is going on at home where they've lost their last 4 home games and the crowd hasn't left here with a smile on his face since last November 22nd?
It's all about offense here. They still have that pulverizing defense that you mentioned. But when you look at their offense, Kordell Stewart is struggling. The last 2 weeks he has played away. He has played well. They played well last week in Cincinnati. He did all the right things. They feel like he's getting better each and every week. But if he doesn't throw the ball well tonight, the cascade of boos will come down heavy on Kordell Stewart. He's got to get off to a good start.
One thing we know for sure, he'll be jumping on the bus tonight because Bettis figures to have a big night in Pittsburgh. Steelers Falcons coming up.
So in
Steelers and Falcons, 12th meeting in history between these teams. Steelers have dominated, winning 10 of 11. Right now to the sidelines and Leslie Visser.
Hi, Alan Boomer. As you know, the Steelers are magic on Monday night. Bill, as you know, defensive back Ray Buchanan said that Kordell Stewart locks on his receivers, telegraphs his passes. Is that true, and what do you need from him tonight?
Well, I don't know about that. Ray does a lot of talking, but, you know, we just need to play good, smart football right now. And I think if we can do that, start out fast, don't get the crowd into it, we'll be okay.
Well, your defense, as usual, is always strong. What else do you need from your offense?
Well, I think we can establish a running game. We got Jerome, got to get him going, get him into the game. I think it'll open up a lot of things.
Thanks a lot, and would love a win at home. Back to you, Al.
All right, Leslie, and you can count on a very heavy dose tonight of Jerome Bettis as the bruising back comes off his best game, as we stated at the top of the show, against a porous Falcon defense. Morton Anderson to kick off, and that's Will Blackwell back along with Troy Edwards, the rookie from Louisiana Tech. And the kick is a bouncer through the end zone. That's only Anderson's second touchback in 20 kickoffs this season. Now the Steelers with Kordell Stewart, formerly known as Slash. When he came into the league, they didn't know whether he'd be a quarterback, a running back, or a wide receiver. A man who filled almost every role at Colorado. And he is in his backfield. He'll have Jerome Bettis behind him, along with John Whitman. And you're looking at the backs and receivers for the Atlanta Falcons. We'll get the Steelers up in a second, but Bettis is the key man and is the ace back in this set. With Hawkins bottom of the screen and Hines Ward at the top, with Ward in motion, split outside. And on first down, it's Stewart on a roll, throws a backside screen, and that's incomplete. Pretty ugly looking play intended for Jerome Bettis, and Andre Crockett, the linebacker, staying right with him. 2nd down and 10.
You can already hear the boos cascading down, and you can see that the Pittsburgh Steelers want to run easy plays for Kordell Stewart to get into the flow of the game early. They probably lead the league in screens, and when you see screens happening quite a bit, Al, that means that they're having trouble getting down the field, and they want to get that quarterback the easy completions.
2nd down and 10. There's action up front. Flags are down. Through the middle goes Bettis, and he breaks one out to the 32 for what would be a 1st down, barring a false start. And the indication is offside against Atlanta, so the penalty will be declined, and it will be a 1st down. Ron Winter is the ref.
Offside. Defense. Penalty decline. Play results in a 1st down.
I think that play indicates just how many problems that the Atlanta Falcons are having stopping the run. In the middle, Jeff Kelly replacing Jesse Tuggle. And also on the outside, Keith Brooking is out and running right up the middle at the rookie who overruns the play. And you have to stay at home when you're a middle linebacker.
11-yard pickup for Bettis, who picks up one more here, getting it out to the 32-yard line. And you'll see Jerome, he's the type of back who on almost every carry will run between the tackles. But the Steelers, as we look at their lineup tonight, have Bettis and Whitman in the backfield, Hawkins and Ward outside with Mark Bruner. But the big difference is up front. Gandy, Faneca, Duffy, Stye, and Brown. And for the first time in 10 years, Dermontti Dawson, the great center there he is in civvies with a strained hamstring. He had made 170 consecutive starts. Hasn't missed a game since '88. On 2nd down and 9, Stewart in the pocket, throws to Bettis, so they get a heavy dose of Jerome to the Falcons, both on the ground and in the air initially. Up to the 37, it'll be 3rd and a long 3. Defensively for the Falcons, again minus the 2 starters, Archambault, Hall, Dronette, and Chuck Smith up front. But with Tuggle and Brooking hurt, Sauer, the rookie Kelly in the middle, and Crockett are the linebackers. In the secondary, experienced and good, Bradford and Buchanan at the corners. Marty Carter and Eugene Robinson are the safeties. Steelers now with 5 receivers, the empty backfield, 3rd down, short 4 from the 37-yard line. Stewart running, in effect, an option, and runs into his own man, and Buchanan knocks him down at the line of scrimmage.
Again, plays trying to get Kordell Stewart involved, trying to use his ability to, as a runner, to make the 1st down. Most quarterbacks in the NFL are going to drop back in a shotgun like that and try to complete a pass. Again, ways of trying to make it simple for Kordell to give him an opportunity to start making some plays. You can see number 81, actually Troy Edwards, the rookie, comes back and gets in his way, or he might have had the 1st down.
That's Tim Dwight back to receive, and Dwight, as Boomer said at the top, will also start at wideout. A guy who's explosive, a guy who ran a kickoff back for a touchdown in the Super Bowl. Josh Miller sends it away. Dwight backs up. Big Ten sprint champion at Iowa from the 13. And brings it back out to the 28-yard line. And that's where the Falcons will take possession for the first time tonight. 2:40 into the game in Pittsburgh. No score. Three River Stadium in Pittsburgh. The Atlanta Falcons have the ball. They'll start from the 28, and Chris Chandler gets the start. Missed a lot of time this year with a hamstring pull, and last week had the flu. Came out halfway through the loss to St. Louis. Ken Oxendine and Bob Crispin in the backfield. Dwight and Mathis outside, and Santiago is the tight end. The offensive line, Whitfield, Bishop, Tobeck, Williams, and Salam. Good interior 5. First down, Atlanta from the 28-yard line. And they start with Oxendine picking up almost 5 as he's able to burrow his way out to the 33-yard line. Defensively now for the Steelers, they are terrific. Play a 3-4, Roy, Steve, the Pro Bowler, and Henry. And then the linebackers, Gilden, Kirkland stays in on every play, Holmes and Emmons. And in the secondary, Scott and Washington at the corners, Davis and Flowers, the safeties. Very physical, every one of them. Byron Hanspard is now in the game. The tailback, we'll see Oxendine and Hanspard, maybe half and half tonight. And this time it's Hanspard, and he fakes the reverse to to Tim Dwight and gets taken down as Holmes stays at home and takes him down.
Probably should have given it to Tim Dwight. He had wide open down the sideline, but when you look at the Steeler defense, really where the key of this whole thing is right up the middle with Steed, Kirkland, and Holmes. And you look at these linebackers, 6'2", 250 and 6'1", 280 in the middle, making plays like this in the backfield. This is why this defense is as good as it is. And going back to the Steeler offense, you don't take chances when you have a defense like this. We've seen this week in and week out all across the NFL.
3rd down and 9. Now Chandler out of the shotgun. They line Dwight up in the backfield. The Steelers rush 5. Chandler hangs in the pocket, throws, and it's caught up at the 46-yard line by Terrence Mathis, his main go-to guy. Stopped by Townsend. Mathis with his 32nd catch of the season.
Al, if they can protect Chris Chandler like they did on that play there, this will give Dan Reeves an opportunity to open up all the playbook. When we had Dan Reeves in Dallas a few weeks ago with Tony Graziani as quarterback, he had to be careful of his play calling. But you can see now that he should be able to open it up a little bit and let Chandler make some plays like this downfield.
He had Graziani at quarterback, and then he lost Jamal Anderson that night in the first quarter. 1st and 10 from the 46-yard line. Back to the ground, but the Steelers sniff it out. Oxendine, who is in his 2nd year out of Virginia Tech, tackled by Earl Holmes.
Oxendine, one of the things going into this game that Dan Reeves was worrying about was his propensity to actually fumble the football. 3 fumbles in the last 2 games. But he does have some big playability. He's a big kid, 6 foot 230. He's got some speed, and he's going to have to be physical tonight against these linebackers in this defensive line.
Oxendine, a 7th-round choice last year. 2nd down and 11 from the 45-yard line. And Chandler flings one to the outside, intended for Dwight, incomplete, covered by Scott. And a flag goes down as Chandler went down.
This might be a blow to the head, I think. Could be roughing the passer. And
it is. Jason Gilden came in and might have struck him at the end. We'll wait for Winter to make the call. He already made the preliminary call.
Roughing the quarterback, number 92 of the defense.
It is Gilden.
Contact to the helmet. 15 yards, 1st down.
Take a look at this. You could see Gilden trying to go inside around Oxendine and just takes a shot to the head. A little inadvertent, but you know, if you hit him in the head, they're going to throw the flag. That's exactly what the rule states.
1st and 10. All of the Steelers that time up in the box. And Oxendine goes nowhere. Stopped by Holmes, Emmons.
Just about everybody was in on that tackle.
Right, and then Flowers finishes him off.
The amazing thing watching these fans, when the Steeler offense is on the field, they're all sitting down, they're quiet, and they're just ready to boo. But when the defense comes out, it seems like it just totally energizes the entire stadium. And right there you saw Jim Haslett, their defensive coordinator. This is a very proud group.
They do a great job in particular against the rush, and that has been the bane of Atlanta's existence since they lost Anderson. The Falcons averaging just 3 yards per carry. Chandler flushed out and finally sacked back at the 47. Couldn't maintain his balance, and Joel Steed sends him all the way back into Atlanta territory. A 13-yard sack.
Remember that Chris Chandler is coming off a hamstring injury. It's a cold night out here. What he should have done here is just get rid of the football when he gets out here. But first he wants to get away from that big boy right there, number 93, Joel Steed. And he's stumbling around the corner. Not the most nimble of foot quarterbacks in of the league. And really where Chris's strength is in his helmet. He's a smart guy. He can read defenses very well, and he has a nice touch on the football.
String him out of the offensive formation here on 3rd down and 23. 4-man rush over the middle. It's a short game. Mathis pulls it in, but at the 48-yard line, and they can't even get into field goal range. Flowers makes the tackle.
Well, in order for Atlanta to win this game tonight out, no turnovers, play smart, try to keep the ball in the Steelers' end, force Kordell Stewart to beat you. You can keep 9 guys around the line of scrimmage to stop Jerome Bettis, but until Kordell can prove that he can complete some passes down the field, this is the way you have to play. Field position right now on the road.
One reason they got to the Super Bowl last year, they were plus 20 in give and take. This year, minus 11 in that department. As Straczynski's punt floats down and is fair caught at the 8-yard line by Courtney Hawkins.
Did you see that catch?
Yes. The Hawk pulls it in with 7:36 left in the first period.
Looks like Connie Hawkins there.
Yes, he did. ABC brings you interactive TV for Monday Night Football. While you watch the telecast, log on to ESPN.com or NFL.com. And try out ABC's enhanced TV coverage. From the 8-yard line, this is Bettis with a flag down. And the bus finally gets stopped up at the 24-yard line, pending the call.
And Shane Dronette jumped off sides.
Offside. Nose guard of the defense. Lined up in the neutral zone. The penalties decline. The play results in a first down.
There he is. And really the way the Steelers 2 runs right up the middle, big yardage. This could be a long night for Dan Reeves and Rich Brooks' defense. It's going to be a long night for Jeff Kelly, the new middle linebacker, as a rookie going against Jerome Bettis.
Now Stewart chased and slashes out of bounds up at the 26-yard line. Jeff Kelly runs him down. Let's check in with Leslie Visser.
Al, as you know, football's answer to Cal Ripken is sitting this dance out. Dermontti Dawson. Dermontti, how is your hamstring? They're tricky, aren't they?
It's doing okay. You know, it's slow, and I didn't want to risk playing tonight and injuring it even more. You know, we got about a week this week, so it gives me about 2.5 weeks to get it well and get ready for San Francisco.
We're used to seeing you out there. What does your offense need?
Well, just a little bit more consistency in the running game and also as a passing game. You know, have a more balanced attack and just be able to spread the field a little bit, and it allows us to run and also pass. So just got to be a little bit more consistent in both phases.
We almost didn't recognize you in street clothes.
I like being in street clothes.
Thanks. Back to you guys.
All right, Leslie, this is Bettis taking it up to the 29. Leslie referred to Dermontti Dawson as a Cal Ripken type, and we had a shot of Jesse Tuggle, and Tuggle would be there. He is Atlanta's answer to Cal Ripken as well.
Well, it's all about durability in this league, and both of these players have been around a long time. Jesse went to the Pro Bowl last year as the leader of this defense, and he is really one of the more vocal players in all of football. Dermontti Dawson, one of the more quiet players in all of football. And Roger Duffy is taking Dermontti's place tonight. Roger is normally a guard. He has been the backup center. But and there's Keith Brooking of the Atlanta Falcons, their other missing linebacker. So watch for a lot of runs tonight.
3rd down and 4. Here's a pass, and it's caught by Will Blackwell, and that's a first down. And there's a little pushy-shovey going on between the rookie Troy Edwards and Gerald McBurrows. The Pittsburgh Steelers have met the Falcons since 1981 with 7 different guys starting at quarterback, going all the way back to Bradshaw in 81, and through the years, Bubby Brister in 90, O'Donnell in 93, Mike Tomczak, who was Stewart's backup, in 96, and now Kordell tonight. 1st and 10 from the 39-yard line. This is caught by Hawkins up to the 43. But Boomer, the one thing about Kordell Stewart is that he is durable, and when you think about it, I mean, it's almost shocking. Since the beginning of the 1997 season, only 3 quarterbacks in the entire league have started all of the games for their respective teams. Brett Favre, Trent Dilfer, and Stewart, and there it is. And Tony Dungy announced today that Dilfer's going to the bench and Eric Zier is going to start. So it'll be down to Favre and Stewart. 2nd down and 6 from the 43-yard line. Bettis. And somehow he's able to snake his way out to the 47-yard line.
You know, in talking to Kevin Gilbride, there he is, the offensive coordinator of the Steelers. I was asking him, how is Kordell grasping your offense? Because this is his third offensive coordinator in 3 years. Kevin has been known as somewhat of an offensive guru throughout the NFL. He says he loves Kordell. He loves his work ethic. He's trying. He's a kid who comes with a smile on his face to work every day, and he's really becoming somewhat of a leader. He feels like he doesn't have a lot of support around him in terms of big play players. And when your biggest play player is your running back that weighs 250 pounds, that means there's not a lot of speed on your offense.
3rd down and 2. Stewart surveys, throws, finds the open man, and it is a first down as Hawkins takes it to the Atlanta 40-yard line. With under 4 minutes to go now in the quarter. A 3rd down conversion here, gain to 13.
What I like here is Kordell doesn't run. He doesn't panic. He keeps his head up. He moves out of the pocket to buy some time. He throws an accurate football, which has been one of his problems this year. And Hawkins does a nice job of feeling the defense and finding the zone and then making the catch.
Bettis comes out of the game. His replacement is Richard Huntley, who's done a very nice job this season. Bettis just getting a rest here. Huntley normally on 3rd down. On 1st and 10 here, it is dropped by Hawkins at the 31-yard line.
So I talk about accuracy on the play before, and this one was inaccurate. It was thrown behind Hawkins this time. And if there is one of the big things about Kordell Stewart that has not been seen this year are the accurate throws. He's had players open like he has Hawkins right here, and he throws it behind him. The quarterback's job is to throw it out, give that receiver a chance to make that catch.
2nd and 10. Bettis comes back in from the Atlanta 40-yard line. Jerome. And he is stopped at the line of scrimmage, but with that big body and keeping the legs going, it's Jasper who gets taken for about a 3-yard ride. Monday Night Football is being brought to you by Lexus and our relentless pursuit of perfection. Alta Vista, smart is beautiful. Budweiser, the beer with the fresh, clean taste that's never filling. And Daytech Online, the rules of online trading are changing.
Now, the interesting thing, when they spread out like this, the Atlanta Falcons are playing one-on-one on these receivers. Somebody has got to win and make a play.
3rd down and 8, and that time it's Hawkins looking around for a flag and finds none.
And Kordell threw the ball to the wrong guy. And he went to the guy where they were actually double covering him, and he's got to go outside, and he's got to go against the one-on-one matchup outside.
And Gilbride provides the perfect visual accompaniment to exactly what you just said.
Take a look at the right side. You can see the safety number 23 coming down right there. It's incidental contact, and Kordell has no business throwing that ball there. He's got to see that safety come out of the secondary and go outside where one-on-one is his best opportunity to make a completion.
Josh Miller looking to pooch punt it. Standing in midfield. The line of scrimmage is a 38. And it is fair caught at the 9-yard line by Tim Dwight. Falcons get it at that spot with 2:37 to go in a scoreless first quarter in Pittsburgh. Three River Stadium in Pittsburgh, and Saturday on ABC Sports, regional action, Penn State against Illinois. The unbeaten Nittany Lions off their win against Purdue. Other regional action, regional football, college football Saturday at 3:30 Eastern. Here on, and goes to the air. Flings it to the outside, intercepted by Chad Scott. And Scott runs it all the way down to the 10-yard line. And a flag is down.
Now that's 2 successive plays now where quarterbacks have made bad reads. Chris Chandler play faked in the back, turned his back to the defense, and threw the ball into double coverage over there. And these guys are not seeing the rotation of the secondary.
The flag has been picked up, by the way, so there is no penalty.
You can see right here, he's not even looking downfield, and Scott is actually trailing Terrence Mathis with the safety Lee Flowers over the top. Not a good throw at all.
First down at the 11-yard line. And now Bettis gets tackled in the backfield, and that's big news. Jerome rarely gets thrown for a loss, and that time it's the rookie middle linebacker Jeff Kelly out of Kansas State stopping him in his tracks. Another look at the pick here.
You can see him dropping back, and he has Terrence Mathison in sights the whole way, and underthrows the ball badly. But you can see actually it was number 27. Travis Davis over the top as a safety. Take a look at 17 giveaways.
Yep.
5 takeaways.
Right, minus 12, counting that last pick we mentioned last year, plus 20 at the end of the year. Richard Huntley is in the game in the backfield on 2nd down and 12. A little flip to Huntley inside the 10, and Bettis is back up, takes it in for the touchdown.
Was that his rendition of the Dirty Bird?
I don't know what that is.
Al, I talked about at the beginning of the show, you don't want to turn the ball over on the road, especially against the Steelers who have trouble throwing the ball. Here's one of their many screens that they've been running, and Huntley does a great job of reading his blocks and then making Ray Buchanan miss a tackle, and that's interesting. Albeit because Ray Buchanan was on Kordell Stewart early in the week saying that he telegraphs his throws and we should be able to get a few. And my message to Ray is pick your head up and make the tackle.
Chris Brown converts. It's Huntley's 3rd touchdown reception of the season. So they capitalize on the pick to the Steelers and lead at 7-zip. Kicks off for the Pittsburgh Steelers, who lead 7-0. It's fielded at the 10-yard line by Tim Dwight, and a great open field play made by Joey Porter, a rookie out of Colorado State. Makes the team because of his special teams prowess, a backup linebacker, and takes care of Tim Dwight. Beautiful aerials tonight. The Spirit of Akron, the Goodyear blimp, hovering high above downtown Pittsburgh and Three Rivers Stadium. This stadium looking like a shimmering jewel when you see this from the air. Look at that shot. It's hard to believe they're going to knock this baby down in 2 years when the Steelers' new stadium is up and in working order. They're building that next door. First down from the 18-yard line. And this is Oxendine for a gain of 3. It's a situation where through the history of this stadium, the Steelers have always had seemingly a great defensive unit. A little bit of action from the first quarter tonight. They wrapped up Oxendine there, and there again they did it. And there was Hanspard thrown for a 5-yard loss, and Chandler taken down for a 13-yard sack. And then the pick here by Scott leading to the Pittsburgh touchdown, and it's 7-0 in the waning moments of the first period. 2nd down and 7 from the 21-yard line. Inside handoff, nothing happening. That's Oxendine probing the middle, and not only are they tough with the front 7, but then Flowers comes up from the secondary.
Now this is a swarming defense. They're all over the place, and when you see guys like Flowers and Levon Kirkland in the backfield, I mean, they are just really putting the pressure right now on Dan Reeves' team. Say, hey, no Jamal Anderson. You can't run on us. Now you're going to have to try to throw on us. The last time you threw on us, you threw an interception. It puts Chris Chandler in this offense in a very difficult situation trying to convert a 3rd and 10.
From their own 18-yard line. Final play of the quarter. Chandler under pressure, slings it deep downfield, and it's incomplete up at the 35-yard line. Mathis can't hold on. Had sprung free, had gotten around Flowers, but couldn't haul it in. So the second quarter will begin with a punt, end of 1. 7-0 Steelers. And Monday Night Football returns after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Start the second quarter, 7-0. Let's go back to the last pass here, Boomer.
Take a look at this. Scott Shields, Chris Chandler makes a miss and throws a beautiful pass, a strike to Terrence Mathis. And when you're on the road, you have to make catches like that. You have to make plays like that. And Chris Chandler held up his end of the bargain that time.
A wobbly punt by Straczynski, caught at the 47-yard line by Hawkins and returned to the 50-yard line. And so the Steelers take over at midfield. Kevin Gilbride, who was the head coach of the San Diego Chargers at this time last year, now the offensive coordinator here. Bill Cowher has had to make at least one coordinator switch in each of the last 5 seasons, either on offense or defense. He had Shane Gailey here as the offensive coordinator, got the head job in Dallas, brought Ray Sherman in last year. That didn't work out. Ray now in Minnesota. And in comes Gilbride this season.
Everybody wants continuity in this league, and the one thing that success breeds, it breeds people wanting your guys. They want to take them off your staff, and they want to give them jobs. And certainly Kordell has bore the brunt of most of that. But this is a situation where I'd like to see him go down the field. You've got great field position here, and he just won't do it.
With Jerome Bettis picking up a couple to the 48. Been a very tough day for Bill Cowher and also for Dan Reeves, both represented by the agent Robert Fraley, who, as you know, along with Van Arden, a colleague of his, and of course the golfer Payne Stewart, tragically killed today in that plane crash in South Dakota. And there will be a Payne Stewart retrospective as part of our halftime festivities tonight. Payne Stewart at the age of 42, dying earlier today as Bettis moves to the outside. So for Reeves and for Cowher, the two of them, of course, shared a great friendship and a business relationship for Fraley, and both pretty shaken throughout the day.
I think most of us who knew them are doing this tonight, this football game, with a heavy heart. And the only thing I can tell you about Payne Stewart, he was a great person. He loved life. He loved being the golfer that he was. He respected the game, and he is certainly going to be sorely missed by all of us who were his friends. Our heart goes out to his family, and what a tragedy.
3rd and 9 from the 49-yard line for the Steelers. Stewart fires. It's tipped and incomplete. The pass a little high and off the fingertips of the intended receiver, Hawkins. And let's check in with Leslie Visser.
Al, as you mentioned, both Dan Reeves and Bill Cowher have heavy hearts tonight because their agent Robert Fraley was on that plane. Dan Reeves called Bill Cowher today to tell him about it. Bill Cowher said to me, whenever you talk to Robert Fraley, you felt better about yourself, Al.
And you could read it in the eyes of both coaches talking to them before the game today. It was a tough day it was for both of them, obviously.
Absolutely, and you could see it that the field for a pre-game was just not there in their eyes.
Josh Miller to punt as the Steelers go 3 and out. And this is Dwight, who misread it, couldn't make a fair catch, and thus Jason Simmons is able to down it at the 6-yard line, to the delight of Josh Miller and those on the Steelers sideline. That is ugly with a capital U if you're a Falcon. 11 plays, 11 yards.
Right, and a turnover in there that gave yards over to Pittsburgh, but that last offensive series was indicative of the way Pittsburgh's been playing offense. Courtney Hawkins drops the ball that Kordell Stewart throws in there, and they don't get a chance to get some more plays going.
First down, Atlanta from the 8-yard line trying to get something going. It's a 2-yard gain for Ken Oxendine. 2nd down and 8. Mike gets a surprise visit from an old friend, is Christopher Lloyd from Back to the Future, guest stars on Spin City. That's tomorrow right here on ABC.
Al, I have a question for you.
Sir?
Did you see me on Spin City last week?
I taped it. I was out of town.
Did you? So you haven't seen it?
I haven't looked at it yet. I'm going to review it, though, and you will be receiving that review via email. Tomorrow morning.
At least I won't have to read about it, I guess.
Well, you may. You never know. 2nd down and 8 from the 10-yard line. And that is caught by Mathis, and he picks up the first down, getting to the 20-yard line, tackled by Levon Kirkland. Just want to know, did the ratings spike during your appearance?
I have no idea.
In the vernacular of television?
I have no idea. All I know is I had a great time. See right here, Chris Chandler, right in the shadow of his own goal line, just throwing a nice ball inside the zones, and Terrence Mathis does a good job of just sitting in there, feeling the zone, and making the catch for him.
So Atlanta already picking up as much yardage on this series as they had in the whole first quarter. 11 yards. Chandler 3 for his first 5 from the 20-yard line, and throwing a wobbly duck. A flag comes in intended for Christian. Covered on the play by Travis Davis.
I think Travis Davis is going to get flagged for holding, I believe. Jim Haslett has done a great job with this defense. He really has. He inherited it from Don Capers and has just kept it to the level where it was prior to him getting here.
Number 30 of the defense. Penalized at the spot of the foul. First down.
That's Chad Scott.
Okay.
Shaking his head.
I can't believe they threw a flag on a guy from Maryland now. Take a look at this right here.
First time ever.
Right. You have 5 yards, and and obviously that was past 5 yards. And that's a fullback. I mean, just let him go. Don't worry about it.
Sure. Bob Christian, first down from the 31-yard line for the Falcons. Chandler rolling to buy time, throws, open, caught, 44-yard line. That's Mathis again. Terrence, in 1990, a 6th-round draft choice of the New York Jets, but has really turned it on since he was dealt to Atlanta.
And when he went to Atlanta, they had the run and shoot with June Jones and Jeff George, and he was a great inside receiver, but he has elevated his game to become an outside receiver, which is, usually where bigger players are going to be, but he is a great route runner. He really has an understanding of how to get open and give the quarterback separation and deliver the ball confidently.
First down at the 44-yard line. Mathis has caught 4 for 47 yards. Each of Chandler's completions has been to Mathis. Will he look that way again?
Oh, yeah.
He will. There's his 5th catch, and he runs out of bounds at the 37-yard line. So Chris Chandler is 5 for 7 with all 5 receptions to number 81.
He would have had another one had not Terrence dropped one earlier in the game, but you could see when you have your starting quarterback back in the lineup, you'll drop back on first down, you'll make plays, he'll throw the ball down the field, he'll shake off the interception, and he will not carry it with him the whole game. That's why he's been able to last this long in the league, Chris Chandler. You take a look at that statistic right there.
111 grabs in 1994, first and 10 from the 36-yard line. Byron Hanspard in it, the running back spot. Hanspard gets it. Byron Hanspard is the backup to Jamal Anderson, who, of course, is gone for the season. But Byron won the Doak Walker Award in his senior year in college at Texas Tech, and that's the award given to ostensibly the best running back in college football. Trying to keep him healthy, though. He's been bothered by a bruised shoulder, and so he and Oxendine are splitting time, and Hanspard now comes out of the game.
Be a nice 1-2 punch for those guys. They gave the ball over 400 times to Jamal Anderson last year, so these two guys are not going to see a 200 apiece, but it's a nice 1-2 punch.
Meanwhile, Kevin Henry's shaken up, and there's an injury timeout. Kevin Henry came off under his own power. Might have been poked in the eye. They were checking that out, so he'll be back in tomorrow. Meanwhile, special Halloween episode of Dharma and
see the Atlanta Falcons and 5 wide receivers, and you do this with your starting quarterback that is finally got to get rid of it.
Second and 8. Pressure is on. He escapes a would-be sack by Carlos Emmons, flings it downfield, and then Christian at the goal line, covered by Dwayne Washington, incomplete.
Al, it's not really the matchup you want your fullback against a starting cornerback.
No, it's not.
Maybe Christian went to him today and said, hey, look, it's Monday Night Football. Let's see if you get me the ball a little bit or something. I don't know.
That's throwing Christian to the Lions.
Take a look at this. Their legs get tangled up right here. Ooh, close to interference.
No cigar. Third down and 8 from the 34-yard line. They rush Scott from the outside. It's caught over the middle by Mathis to the 23, and that is a first down on Mathis's 6th catch.
You got to love Terrence Mathis. He's 5'10", 186 pounds, and he's in there against Levon Kirkland, who's listed at 6'1", 270. He's more like 280. And you could see Levon trying to reach for him, and there he is, one of the all-time great linebackers for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And difficult tackle for the big man to get a hold of one of those little guys.
Especially a guy like Mathis, who is absolutely the go-to guy for Chandler, especially in the absence of their key guy last year, Tony Martin. Now with the Dolphins. First down from the 23-yard line. This is Oxendine, and they still can't get a running game going. He picks up 2, pushed back by Davis and Holmes. Oxendine now 7 carries for 9 yards. Hansbrough 2 carries, -3.
You still have to try to run it. You can't just drop back and throw it every time. And really what they're trying to do here is probably take a little time off the clock, give the defense something to look at. And hopefully they'll make some plays off of play action down here in the red zone.
From the 21 on second down 8. Chandler hits the official, the umpire, over the middle, intended for Oxendine, and meanwhile Henry comes back into the game, and doesn't Chandler know it?
Every time Chris Chandler gets hit, I'm just wondering whether or not he's going to get up. He always has that grimace on his face, like. And Kevin Henry just bringing it. And down here in this part of the field, the crowd is noisy, it's loud. Offensive linemen have to pay attention. You can see him hit the ref right there with the football. But down here you have to be real careful with your communication on the offensive line. These guys can barely hear.
Third down 8 from the 21-yard line. 4-man rush, a lot of heat, and Chandler gets sacked at the 30-yard line. Orpheus Roy and Jason Gilden leading the charge.
One of the reasons the Stewart defense is so good is that they can get pressure with 4 guys. A lot of teams around the league bring 5 and 6 guys to put pressure on quarterbacks. When you can bring 4 like this and get this kind of pressure, and you have 7 in the backfield, in the defensive backfield, it's a very difficult place to throw the football. And it's just a bad job by the offensive line of the Atlanta Falcons.
And it makes it a difficult field goal for Anderson. It's 47 yards for the 39-year-old Dane, who has been kicking in the NFL since 1982. And Anderson's kick is no good. Not even close. Wide to the right. And so the Steelers dig in, get a key third down sack. Atlanta comes up empty on the field goal attempt, and Pittsburgh still leads it 7-0. Al Michaels with Boomer Esiason and Leslie Visser at Three Rivers Stadium, when the Pittsburgh Steelers take over at their own 38-yard line. And unbelievably, after a commercial timeout, Stewart comes up to the line of scrimmage and has to take a timeout. Before they start a series, he takes a timeout.
Well, really what I think, Al, is I see a guy that's not real comfortable with where they are offensively right now.
So timeout for the moment. Let's go down to Leslie Visser. Leslie?
Al, Mario Lemieux is considered the savior of the city, a career all-star. He stepped forward to buy the Pittsburgh Penguins after bringing 2 Stanley Cups and countless thrills to the people of the Iron City. He joins me now. Mario, how different is it to sit in the owner's box than to play?
Well, it's a little bit different, but I feel pretty comfortable. I think it was important for myself to step up this year and to try to keep the Penguins here in town. They've been a big part of my life, and the least that I could do was to try to put a group of investors together and keep them here forever.
You said a priority was to keep the team in Pittsburgh. What's special about Pittsburgh?
Well, I've been here since 1984, and I've had a great relationship with the fans since then, and the least that I could do was to try to keep them here. So I'm glad that I've been raising my 4 kids here, and I love Pittsburgh.
You are a hero here, and you may not know, but Boomer plays in a league on Long Island. Are you interested in him?
I'd love to go one-on-one with Boomer.
Back to you guys. Thanks, Mario.
I'm a cross between Snoopy and Messier on the ice.
I'll bet. Okay. It's great to see Mario. What a player he was. Second down and 7 from the 41-yard line. And that is caught by Will Blackwell across the 50, and he picks up a first down at the Atlanta 49-yard line.
Real nice throw by Kordell Stewart that time, Al. He kept it low. He was very accurate gave Will Blackwell a chance to go down and protect himself. And these are the types of throws that they're not easy, but they should be made by big-time quarterbacks. If Kordell wants to be that kind of player, he has to continue to throw the ball like that and give his receivers a chance.
Steelers, 6.5 to go in the half. On top, 7-0. Bettis. And the bus stops at the 35-yard line. So the Steelers capitalize on an early turnover, make a key sack on a 3rd down, and Atlanta misses a field goal. And then Jerome has just put them at the 35-yard line. So the Steelers are on the move again.
They really are, and Jeff Kelly in the middle has made some nice plays, but that time he misread the play, went the wrong way, and Jerome Bettis was able to run right up the middle.
Here's Bettis again. Picking up 2. I mentioned at the top, Boomer, that in this upside-down, wacky, nutso NFL this year, the Steelers really haven't played with any consistency like a lot of other teams, but Bill Cowher, you could tell last night, feels that this team is maybe on the verge of breaking out if Stewart can really get his act together. And we take a look at Bill Cowher, then when you look at the schedule the rest of the way, when you play in the AFC Central,
right, and you're crossing over with the NFC West, and you can see right here where a lot of the teams aren't very good, and he knows that he has one of the better defenses in football, and he has seen signs of life from the offense the last couple of weeks.
Stewart trying to show him another sign of life right here, and that's incomplete, intended for Bruner, who's covered by the linebacker Andre Crockett.
People would wonder, why don't you take Kordell Stewart out and put Mike Tomczak in? And Mike Tomczak's their backup quarterback. He's been in the league for quite some time. And what Kordell Stewart gives you as a player out there is the ability to make plays with his legs. And you saw right there how he got away easily from the rush and gave his teammate a chance to make a play. So Mike Tomczak's not going to give you that type of playmaking ability.
3rd down and 8, the ball at the 33-yard line. Stewart out of the gun. Rolling the other way, throwing, and that is not caught at the 29-yard line, intended for the rookie Troy Edwards.
It wouldn't have been a 1st down, Al, but plays like this have to be made by the receivers, and there is a real lack of confidence right now between Kordell Stewart and the guys he's thrown it to. And there's Troy Edwards, a guy who's a rookie who they like, but they feel like he has to mature because right now he's just not real solid at practice, and he's not solid in the game. He dropped some big passes last week against Cincinnati. It's not an easy catch, but it's a catch that you have to make.
Now a 50-yard attempt by the rookie Chris Brown, who's a perfect 9 for 9 at the outset of his career, and the 7th-round choice out of Nebraska is 10 for 10, officially 51 yards.
Man, how about those Huskers, Al?
How about them Huskers? How about them 7th-round draft picks?
All right. What a kick.
51 yards for Brown, 10-0 Steelers. Coming up next weekend on ESPN Sunday Night Football, Tampa Bay and Eric Zier is the new starting quarterback against Detroit. And then a real beauty on Monday Night Football next week. We'll go to Lambeau Field, Seattle and Green Bay. And what that means, of course, is that Mike Holmgren comes back to Green Bay as the coach of Seattle. Brett Favre and company next Monday night. Packers Seahawks. Brown kicks off after a 51-yard field goal. It's a fire drill on the return from the 20-yard line. This is Brian Kozlowski up to the 34-yard line. The kick was so bad it was good.
I think he took a divot before he hit it.
In the meantime, Brown has now kicked 10 field goals at the start of his career. Rich Karlis with Denver in '82 and David Treadwell with Denver in '89. The record with 11. And here was Bill Cowher looking and watching that ball split the uprights.
Oh, coaches love that. Good defense, solid special teams. You can see, look at that jaw. That jaw is way out there now, Al.
Oops, sorry. Bill Cowher, he loves playing at home on Monday night. In his regime, the Steelers are 7-0 in this ballpark on Monday night. Trying to make it 8. First down from the 29. Chandler loses the football. Kirkland is there, among others, with Roy. And it is still Atlanta's ball. A Falcon at the bottom of the pile. Chandler is down there on the ground, but they'll retain possession back at the 25-yard line. It is Robbie Tobeck, the center.
Well, Al, I always tell you that's never the quarterback's fault. That's always the center's fault. And I could just hear every center I've ever played with right now just oohing. But it looked like Chris actually pulled out a little bit too quickly, and Toback might have shorted him on the snap.
Dave Remington just called. Collect.
I'm going to hear about that tomorrow, I can tell you.
What do you mean tomorrow?
Well, tell him I'm busy right now. Put him on hold.
2nd and 14 from the 25-yard line. Play clock down to 0. And there is a flag. They did not make it. Delay of game. So you've got a fumbled snap and a delay of game. And Dan Reeves, who underwent a quadruple bypass last year.
He might need another one if this keeps going on.
Offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains 2nd down.
Monday Night Football is being brought to you by Ford Outfitters. No boundaries. Bud Light, for the great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down. Make it a Bud Light. Alta Vista, smart is beautiful. And Nortel Networks, how the world shares ideas. You know, you look at that stadium. It's hard to believe this thing is going to come down. It's 30 years old. It's a relic in today's era. But you build a stadium, as they did with so many of these edifices in the late 60s and early 70s, and they all had about a 30-year lifespan.
Well, they need a bigger edifice.
Yes, they do. Edifice Rex. 2nd and 19 from the 20.
Easy.
Chandler throws. Christian makes the catch and gets body slammed by Chad Scott at the 26-yard line.
Well, you talk about the stadiums, Al. That stadium is going to be shared by the University of Pittsburgh. They're also getting a new practice facility that will also be shared by the University of Pittsburgh. And Walt Harris, the head coach of Pittsburgh, is doing a great job for them.
So there's a look at some of the construction that went on earlier today, we think. But they're building not only a football stadium, but a baseball stadium on the other side of Three Rivers that the Pirates will play in beginning in 2001.
Now they're just going to get Mario Lemieux a new hockey arena.
New arena. 3rd down and 14 from the 26. Pressure on Chandler. Hit as he throws, and that forces the pass to be incomplete on the safety blitz by Scott Shields.
You could see Scott Shields coming. Either somebody is missing on the offensive line and not picking up the guy they're supposed to, and it looks like actually one of the backs and the left tackle right there, number 70, Whitfield, make the mistake. Whitfield tries to get back, and the quarterback just assumes that that is blocked, because that's what those guys are paid to do, block the blitz. And that time Whitfield did not get back to cover his gap.
Dan Straczynski to punt. Line of scrimmage is the 25. Courtney Hawkins back to receive the kick. By floating spiral, fair caught at the 43-yard line by Hawkins. 2:47 remaining in the first half. Coming up on the Lexus halftime report, a look at the bowl championship series and where the BCS standings are right now, and there will be a Payne Stewart retrospective detailing the death today of the 1999 U.S. Open champion and one of the great gentlemen in all of sports.
You have great field position right here for Kordell Stewart in this offense. I'd just like to see him open it up and go downfield.
First down from the 43-yard line. Bettis. You know who would like to see Kordell open it up?
Kordell.
Gwyneth Paltrow. Did you see her open up the show tonight?
Yes,
that was
the
best Are You Ready we've had of the year.
Is it really?
Gwyneth actually has a Kordell Stewart jersey. She told me outside of the Oscar, it's her most prized possession. She didn't really say that.
Are you trying to impress me?
No, I'm not. I'm just giving you information. I'm trying to win the top information award. 2nd down and 6 from the 47-yard line.
Who votes on that mess?
Yes, I think we know. Thrown over the middle, it's caught by Bettis into Atlanta territory. And Jerome takes it to the 44 as we come upon the 2-minute warning. So the Steelers are on the move again at the 2-minute mark of the first half at Three Rivers Stadium, where the Pittsburgh Steelers lead the NFC champion Falcons 10-0. 2 minutes remaining in the first half in Pittsburgh. A reminder, Sunday, November 7th, the phenomenon is back for 15 straight nights. The return of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? That's Sunday, November 7th, right here on ABC.
How great was Regis Philbin? I can't wait to see that again.
Who wants to be a millionaire?
Don't we all, Al?
Take a look at this field tonight. How many non-millionaires do you have down there right now? First and 10 from the 44-yard line. Stewart, a multi-millionaire, rolls to his left.
Run. There you go.
And Kordell runs out of bounds at the 36-yard line.
Well, that's the vintage of Kordell Stewart. He can do these things, and I think he does it when he feels comfortable, and he's starting to sense to feel comfortable in this offense a little bit. And most people want to know why he doesn't do more of this. Well, that's not his job necessarily. His job is to sit in the pocket, read the defense, and throw the football. And you know, Bill Cowher is going to be real patient with this kid because he senses that each week he's tending to get a little bit better. And then this guy here, Kevin Gilbride, their offensive coordinator, has to learn more and more each week about his quarterback to know what he can get away with and what he's comfortable with.
Second and long, the Steelers have 2 timeouts at their disposal. Pressure up the middle, pass over the middle into the arms of Richard Huntley, and that'll lose yardage. Rich Brooks, the one-time coach at Oregon and the Rams, now the defensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons, well, they played on Monday Night Football in 1978. A look back.
Now a 37-yard field goal attempt by Mazzetti.
There's a new name on the national football scene. The name Tim Mazzetti.
You're exactly right. Mazzetti, who had been a bartender in Philadelphia 2 weeks before the game, bursting into national prominence. One of the few games Atlanta has won in the history of Monday Night Football, where the Falcons have not won a game on MNF since 1981, Boomer.
Well, you know, it's like working with a stand-up comedian in here, Al.
Yes, right. And who might that be? Falcons have lost 9 straight games on Monday night. They've lost all 5 in the 90s, and in each case, a major blowout. 3rd and 2 from the 37. Stewart almost has it picked off by Elijah Williams, and a flag is down.
This is the same play that they ran earlier in the game where he threw it into that same coverage. He tried to go back there, saw the same coverage, and this time got nervous and kind of floated the ball a little bit over the top of the defenders. I think we're going to get Ray Buchanan on a hold, and the significance about this is Ray Buchanan talking earlier in the week saying that Kordell Stewart telegraphs his pass and he looks at his receiver the whole way. And
number 34 of the defense, a 5-yard penalty and a first down.
Take a look at the top of your screen right there. Number 34, Ray Buchanan, getting inside on Troy Edwards and not allowing him to get away. And you know, again, Kordell Stewart really shouldn't have thrown the football there. He wasn't open either.
But they get away with it. First down to the 31-yard line. Blackwell is in motion. Stewart escaping and turns a would-be sack into about a 7-yard gain to the 25-yard line.
See, here he's running the 2-minute drill. And one of the reasons that teams want to get into the 2-minute drill before the 2-minute is to get their quarterback into the game. And you can see right now his hurry up. He's making play calls at the line of scrimmage.
2nd and 4. Flings one to the outside. That's a first down. Caught by Hawkins. And he's bumped out of bounds at the 16-yard line by Michael Booker with 1:10 left in the half.
And Al, this might sound kind of funny. It just doesn't give him an opportunity to think too much about what's happening. Just react and play. And when you're a quarterback and you're not sure about the way the offense should be running, you're not sure about your receivers, sometimes you think too much and you overthink as opposed to just reacting. And speeding up the game and getting into a 2-minute drill like that can allow the quarterback to get into the flow, get into a rhythm.
He's rhythmically taking them down to the 15-yard line, 1st and 10. Out of the shotgun with 3 receivers split to the left. And they hand it off to Huntley on an inside give, and Huntley takes the ball to the 12-yard line. A minute to go. 2nd down and 7. What a sight high above Three Rivers Stadium at the confluence of the Allegheny, Monongahela, and Ohio rivers. And there's an injury timeout on the field right now. The Goodyear blimp Spirit of Akron hovering high above the scene. Elijah Williams, the defensive back for Atlanta, is down. The Falcons, a team like so many teams beset by injuries this year, and they really haven't done, as Dan said, a very good job in terms of filling the holes. Of course, when you lose somebody like Jamal Anderson, I mean, that's a hole you can't fill.
And remember, on their defense, Jesse Tuggle is not playing tonight, and Keith Brooking, and they lost Cornelius Bennett to free agency. He went to the Indianapolis Colts. I mean, this is a team that not only is besieged by injuries, it's also, I think, a team that went 14-2 last year on an easy schedule, had some turnovers, the offense made some plays, and then you wonder whether or not they come back with the same type of aggressiveness that they had at the beginning of last year. And you can see right there, ooh, Williams just gets flipped over on his back.
Steelers trying to win their first home game since last November 22nd as Williams is helped to his feet. One thing about the Steelers, if they leave the field here at the half with the lead, that's a very good sign. 31 consecutive wins at Three Rivers when leading at the half.
And what that tells you is that they have great defense. Opposing teams are not allowed to get back into the game. Cowher told us just about how proud that defense is in their meeting rooms and the way they practice. We talked to Jim Sweeney, the longtime center for the New York Jets, who is now here as a backup center for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he had said that when he goes against Joel Steed and Levon Kirkland in practice, I mean, it is full go all week long. And most teams in the NFL don't practice like that. A lot of them take their helmets and take their shoulder pads off and kind of do walkthroughs, but not here. That's not the way that Bill Cowher likes to run his football team. He wants them mentally tough, and he wants them physically tough.
In the backfield with Stewart now is Chris Fuamato Fala, number 45. He goes out into the pattern. Stewart is out of bounds at the 9-yard line, short of the first down with 46 ticks left.
From my vantage point up here, Al, I could see that Hines Ward, number 86, to Kordell Stewart's left, would have come open if Kordell would have just been patient. He wasn't rushed. He had plenty of room back there. His offensive line did a nice job of blocking for him, and Hines Ward was coming open. And all he has to do is sit back there. He's looking, he's looking, he's looking, and he's getting nervous. And there's no reason to get nervous right there. There's nobody around you. He just has to feel the confidence that the receiver's going to come open.
Third down, short 4 from the 9. Stewart improvises his way to the 7-yard line, but short of the first down. Almost compelling Cowher to kick a field goal, though. Let's see. Bill with a 10-point lead.
He wants him to call timeout with about 3 seconds left to go right there. And
right, that's what he's saying.
That last play was a shovel pass, and Kordell Stewart saw that the Atlanta defense had read it, so he had no choice but to take it and try to make plays out of it. So that's not Kordell Stewart watching down the field, I mean, and not seeing what was happening. He saw what was happening and tried to make a play, and they'll stop it with 3 seconds to go right here.
Cowher taking all the time off the clock, so the Falcons are left with no time. You know, in a way, when you look at what Reeves did there by not calling a timeout, knowing that Pittsburgh's going to kick a field goal, knowing he could have saved some time offensively, it almost, you know, it shows you that, I don't want to say Dan doesn't have the confidence in his offense right now, but it shows you he doesn't need the 30 seconds on the clock.
I think that if he gets out of here and it's 13-0, you know, he's feeling okay about it, as long as it wasn't 17 and a touchdown. And you know, 13-0 is not an insurmountable lead. Maybe against the Steelers it is at home, as you saw with our graphic. But Bill Cowher's smart. He knows. Take the points. That's exactly what you want to do in this situation. I have no problem with it.
25-yard attempt by Chris Brown, who tries to begin his career with an NFL record-tying 11th consecutive field goal. And he has just joined Rich Karlis and David Treadwell as the third man in the history of the NFL to begin a career with 11 consecutive field goals. The 7th round pick out of Nebraska.
Remember last week with the New York Giants at the end of the game? This is exactly how it should have been. They should have kicked it with 3 seconds to go and get off the field. See you later.
Pittsburgh gets off the field with a see you later and a 13-0 halftime lead. Coming up on the Lexus Halftime Report, the Bowl Championship Series and a Payne Stewart retrospective. After this message from the NFL and a word from our ABC stations.
Son, I want you to remember that loyalty is what really matters. Come on, Jets.
He's looking swollen.
Oh, yeah! Terry Bradshaw!
Howdy, partner.
Yes! Go Cowboys! Yes! No! Yes, go Jets!
Esiason Johnson.
Loyalty. Huh? What'd I tell you?
In the NFL, the goal is...
Back at Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh, Al Michaels and Boomer Esiason. The Pittsburgh Steelers leading by a score of 13-0 at the half. The Steeler defense doing another magnificent job in setting up the first touchdown of the game with a pick by Chad Scott. Chandler tries to hit Mathis, and Scott takes the ball down to the 10-yard line. And Pittsburgh was able to cash in. Huntley takes it in for the touchdown. 2 Brown field goals make it 13-0. Boomer, hardly a work of art, but in the NFL these days, coaches are always saying, we have to find a way to win. So the numbers aren't that impressive. You know, Bettis is having a pretty good night. Stewart's having an okay night, but they're leading 13-0.
Well, the good thing if you're the Atlanta Falcons is that Pittsburgh Steeler offense is going to keep the game close. The bad thing, however, is this defense is stifling, and they are pulverizing this particular offense of the Falcons. I thought that the Falcons have a chance to throw the ball a little bit there at the end of the second half. They moved it. Chandler found Mathis. They moved the ball right down the field. So I would expect them to come out, throw the ball again, keep throwing it, because right now they cannot run at all against the Steeler defense.
They can't run at all, and of course that's part of the reason in good measure why they got to the Super Bowl last year. When you take somebody like a Jamal Anderson away, as happened the second night of the season, I mean, there goes half your offense.
Now, on the road, turnovers are the key also. That bad throw by Chris Chandler put Kordell Stewart and his team in the opportunity to make a touchdown. You can't do those types of things around. You have to be very careful. Last year, they lived on a turnover. This year, they're dying on it.
Steelers lead it 13-0. Second half from Pittsburgh. Coming right up.
Coming up.
Back in Pittsburgh, Al Michaels, Boomer Esiason, and Leslie Visser. 13-0. Steelers on top of Atlanta at the half, and Monday Night Football is being brought to you by CNET, the source for computers and technology at CNET.com. Ameritrade, believe in yourself. And FedEx. FedEx, be absolutely sure. Three Rivers Stadium. We started to talk about it earlier, Boomer. This, like, and I refer to them as soup tureens. Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati.
I played there.
Busch Stadium in St. Louis.
Played there.
Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia.
Played there.
Atlanta Fulton County Stadium.
Played there.
Right. And we'll think about those stadiums. They were all built
bad those fields were.
At around the same time. Atlanta has been demolished.
Right.
Cincinnati will be demolished. This will be demolished. Philadelphia still up in the air a little bit, but you can count on it in the next few years.
Well, there's one thing about this city is they will buy the tickets. There will be no problem selling tickets here, and they'll want new luxury skyboxes, and it's the wave of the future. In order to be able to participate financially in this league, Al, it has to be done.
With all sports these days. First Brown kicks off, fielded at the 11-yard line. Tim Dwight, Big Ten sprint champion when he was in Iowa, brings it out to the 34. And let's get an update from Leslie Visser. Leslie.
Alan, Boomer still looking for their first win. The Falcons are not off to such a great start. Dan Reeves said, we have not handled the blitz as well. We're going to go to a quick count, maybe some slide protection. Bill Cowher, of course, is happy with his defense. On offense, he said, with the exception of a couple of passes, he's happy with the decision-making of Kordell Stewart, but he hopes after that wonderful celebration at halftime honoring the 74 team that the crowd gets into it and helps carry them the rest of the way. Al,
what she means by slide protection is that they're going to try to move the entire offensive line one way or the other to pick up the outside guys that have been getting home to Chris Chandler, put the tackles out there as opposed to the running backs.
They'll try anything at this point, especially to get a running game going if they can, and it's Oxendine for a gain of a couple up to the 37-yard line. Let's take a look at the numbers through the first 30 minutes of play. Coming up, coming at you. Soon somewhere.
We've gone blue, Al.
Yes, we have. Not necessarily indicative of our mood, but
the stats weren't that impressive anyway.
That's right. 2nd down and 7 from the 37-yard line. Chandler out into the flat to Christian. Christian gets ridden down by Jason Gilden at the 40, setting up a 3rd down and 5 for the Falcons.
Well, that's like a little running game right there, and one of the things that they've had success with has been the play-action pass. And you know, they get themselves into a 3rd and 4 right here, and they can, you know, it's a manageable down. They can make this play.
They better start making these plays.
Well, the good thing, like I said at halftime, was that the Steeler offense did not score touchdowns. They scored 1, obviously, but 2 field goals. And 13 points is not as large a mountain as you would like to think.
3rd and 5, and they'll try it on the ground with Tim Dwight out of the backfield, reaching for it, and he's a little bit short. So Dwight had lined up in the backfield, the wide receiver, tackled by Chris Oldham, and appears to have come up a little short of the 1st down. Very close.
Not a bad play selection. When the Steelers do it, they do it with Kordell Stewart. When the Falcons do it, they do it with a punt returner, a kickoff returner, somebody who is quite explosive as a player. And you could see right at the end there, he dove for the 1st down. A quarterback is unlikely to do that, and he'll probably get stopped in his tracks, is where a punt returner can break a tackle and try to make a play. So not a bad play selection from the Atlanta Falcons.
And they are that shy of the 1st.
Okay, you're 1 and 5. Go for it. What do you have to lose, right?
Yeah, I'd agree at this point.
Absolutely, and he is going to go for it. And sooner or later, there has to be a time where, you know, you say, look, our season is kind of lost. We have to gain some respectability back.
Not a particularly good weekend for Atlanta fans in any sport. But how are the Thrashers doing?
Who knows what? Oh, there you go.
The new NHL entry. In case you didn't know, 98% of you in the audience.
Now, most quarterbacks, you would just take a quarterback sneak right here.
4th and inches. Coming up in the eye. If nothing else, at least trying to draw Pittsburgh offside. And they run the play, and they give it to Christian. And Bob is able to get the necessary inches. Oh, it would appear,
boy, that was close,
to move the chains. And Ron Winter says, move them. Move those sticks. Dan acting like a guy who's not getting a good spot, but Winter's already signaled 1st down. Unless Dan saw something action else after the play that didn't precipitate a flag.
You got to
Neither coach is happy right now.
When are coaches ever happy? Really, they're happy when the game's over and they've won. But both of these guys, especially Bill Cowher, and you could see in his face, he's never happy, and he's always working the officials. Always. Non-stop.
Neither coach particularly ecstatic as the Chandler goes back on 1st down and throws, and it's caught at the 42-yard line, and that's Mathis, who's having a big night. Terrence Mathis, who caught 6 in the 1st half, his 7th reception here and 92 yards tonight through the air.
Well, he's got Chad Scott one-on-one with Jason Gilden underneath, and as a quarterback, you have to negotiate the underneath player right there and just put the ball. What a nice, accurate, tight spiral, and it was good coverage by Chad Scott, but when the ball is delivered on time and it's accurate, the chances are so much better for the receiver to get the opportunity to make the play.
Backfield is vacant. 5 receivers in this set. Chandler on 1st down and still goes down back at the 48-yard line. 5 guys out into the pattern, and Joel Steed says, you're on your back at your own 48.
He put Robbie Toback, the center, on his back, and ran him over and got back to Chandler. And again, you go back to the middle of this defense, and Joel Steed is right there as a nose tackle in there by himself. It's his responsibility to get in one of those two gaps to allow those linebackers to make plays. And if you can get a sack out of your nose tackle like this, this is a bonus right here. And you're not going to block him one-on-one. No way. And that was actually Greg Bishop, the left guard, that had the task of trying to block that man.
2nd and 18. The Steelers rush 4. A little dump off screen. And Christian is taken down. A great play by Earl Holmes. Levon Kirkland gets so much of the acclaim and publicity, you begin to overlook Earl Holmes, but he has done a great job over the last couple of years for the Steelers.
But instincts and reading plays, you can see the defensive linemen of the Pittsburgh Steelers just rush through like they're not aware of the screen. But the linebackers make so many plays on this team, and Earl Holmes making another huge play behind the line of scrimmage.
3rd down and 21.
You have a play, Al?
Yeah, a prayer. Chandler, a reverse roll. That wasn't the play I would have thought of, as Mike Vrabel, the linebacker, a guy coming back from a broken arm, sacks him back at the 40-yard line.
What they tried to do is move Chris Chandler out of the pocket. They had Terrence Mathis running down the left sideline, and they tried a little hook and go, trying to fool Dwayne Washington, but Washington was not fooled. Chandler saw that down the field. He's also looking back across the field as well. And whew, what a defense.
4th and long, so they go for it on 4th and inches, make it, and then wind up with 4th and 1,000,000 as Straczynski's kick is hauled in by Hawkins at the 15-yard line, and the Hawk is pushed all the way back to the 6, but they give him forward progress up near where he caught it. 9:26 to go in the 3rd as the Steelers have the lead and the ball. .com right now and try our enhanced TV during the game. The Pittsburgh Steelers have the ball at their 14-yard line with 9:26 left in the 3rd period. And Pittsburgh on top 13-0. Kordell Stewart 9 of 15 for 73 yards in the first half. And his 16th cross of the night is caught by Hines Ward at the 19. Let's check in with Leslie.
Al, as you and Boomer know, he is the great teacher, the great organizer, built the Steelers from the ground up. Chuck Noll. Chuck, thanks for joining us. What will it mean to you that they're tearing down 3 Rivers?
Well, you know, it has great memories. It really was the start of Pittsburgh Steeler successful football. And in a sense, it's another step. They get another one that's even better than this. You know, it'll be more successful.
You know, with coaching now, the salary cap, all the inherent problems and challenges that coaches face, do you think you could coach in this system?
Well, you know, one of the things I always used to love about football was that you're making decisions based on the best people. But now you've got salary cap, you've got financial places that you have to make your decisions on. And as a result, it's more like college football because you're going to have a graduating class.
Well, we miss having you around. Once he left, never came back. Back to you guys, Al.
Yeah, and that's it's stunning in a way, but he, like Joe Gibbs, 2 guys who called it a career and walked away for good. 3rd down and 6 at the 18-yard line. And Stewart throws, and that's too high. Intended for the rookie Troy Edwards. It's 4th down.
And you can see Kordell seems to be frustrated at Troy, and it's the question I would have is whether or not Troy ran the right route or missed a blitz and didn't break a pattern off. So again, these are the types of things that quarterbacks kind of go through with young football players. And there's a blitz right there. Huntley does an okay job, not a great job, but again, really nobody there, and it seemed like to me that they were mixed up with each other.
Josh Miller to punt as the Steelers go 3 and out on their first series of the second half. Tim Dwight standing back at his 40-yard line. Miller really bombs one and angles it, and what a kick as Dwight is forced to field it inside his 30 and has no place to go but out of bounds. A perfect kick by Josh Miller.
Absolutely. What a weapon.
What a weapon. It's been an all-time love-hate relationship with he and Cowher, but right now Bill is sending him nothing but Valentines. 54 yards. Dan Reeves watching his team collect 73 yards in 32 plays. Time of possession tonight meaning squat. And it will mean squat when you're averaging 2.5 yards a play. First down from the 27-yard line. Byron Hainspard is the running back. He gets the football. And this non-existent running game, I mean, that's a big gain for them tonight, about 4 yards here.
Well, like I said earlier, they had some success throwing the ball, and they did even when they came out here in the second half throwing it to Terrence Mathis down the field. And I would continue to go back to that. I would try to get back to that. The problem is that every time they seem to get on the move and they start dropping back the pass, a sack, a penalty, and a drop pass. The three things that, when you look at the characteristics of a losing team, they seem to pop their heads up throughout the game. 2nd and 7. Chandler buying time, but the secondary does its work beautifully, and he just has to dump it off into the Steeler bench. And he's running. And a flag goes down, a late hit. Finally a break for the Atlanta Falcons. Yeah, it would have been 3rd and 7 instead of personal foul, to the disgust of Cowher. Right there, he's telling Orpheus Roy to just pull off, relax, don't do this. You know, if the Steelers don't commit any penalties, it doesn't look like the Falcons are going anywhere. Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Number 71 of the defense, 15 yards and a first down.
Jim Haslett's defensive unit doing a magnificent job outside of the penalties. It's Atlanta's 3rd first down tonight by way of a penalty. First down from the 46-yard line. Chandler spreads it out again with a vacant backfield. And Chris takes off and is stopped at the 49-yard line by Orpheus Roy. So the two make their acquaintance known to each other once again. A gain of 5. Everybody thinks of the Steeler defense as this blitzing defense, and under Don Capers and Dick LeBeau, they brought a lot of different zone blitzes. But when you're able to get pressure on with 4 guys, the Steelers have not had to blitz a lot this year. And Bill Cowher was telling us, hey, we're getting great pressure with the front 4. So we can drop 7 in the secondary. A much more difficult place for Chris Chandler to throw the ball. 2nd down and 5 from the 49-yard line. Chandler waiting for somebody to get free over the middle, and at that point it's Dwight, but the pass is then thrown low, and it's 3rd down. And you can see Chris Chandler right there going after Ken Oxendine, his running back. He wants his running back to get out of the way to give the underneath area for Tim Dwight, and he's sitting back there waiting. He doesn't have that time to wait. Guys have to go quickly, they have to move, and they have to stay on the move. You can tell the quarterback's getting batting around tonight, and he's uncomfortable in that pocket. He wants to get rid of the ball as quickly as possible, and he's not getting a lot of help downfield right now. 3rd down and 5. He lines up in the gun. He doesn't, at that point, he then sends Dwight in motion. Chandler under center at the 49-yard line. And down he goes. Again, Chandler sacked this time by Levon Kirkland. And that's the 5th time we've seen Chris in that position tonight. Just when I say they don't blitz, they bring the blitz. And when Levon Kirkland and Scott Shields are in the backfield, it's a long night for Chris Chandler. Take a look at look at the size of it. 6'1", 270. That's a big man coming at you, and it's right up the middle. Here he comes. Hello. Chandler sacked 5 times tonight. It's 4th and long again. Courtney Hawkins is back to receive Struzinski's kick. Hawkins pulls to the fair catch at the 16-yard line. There's 6:13 left in the 3rd. The Pittsburgh Steelers trying to win their first home game since last November 22nd, up by 13.
For the century's most memorable NFL game on NFL.com.
Goodyear blimp, the Spirit of Akron, providing the scenics tonight above Three Rivers Stadium on a sparkling October evening. Sparkling Saturday coming up in college football on ABC regional action. The Penn State Nittany Lions off their win against Purdue, taking on the Illini in Champaign, and other regional action coming away Saturday at 3:30 Eastern Time. Malibu Kelly Hayes reminding me that number 25 Stanford will be in action at Washington.
Well, there's a
Washington guy right there.
Yeah, he's beaten down too. He's got a battle, and remarkably, the game is still close. 13-0's not much.
From the 16-yard line, they give it to Bettis, and Bettis for the second time tonight gets thrown for a loss. Jeff Kelly and Chuck Smith finish him off.
Remember, we were talking earlier about Jeff Kelly. He's the middle linebacker, the rookie who's taking over for Jesse Tuggle tonight. He's made a couple misreads, but really he's made some fine plays in the backfield. And Rich Brooks, the defensive coordinator, was telling us that he is really good against the run. Where he has problems in space in the zones of the passing game. That will come. He's a rookie.
Second down and 14 after a 4-yard loss. Flag is down. Falcons jump. Stewart with a free play hits Bruner up at the 19-yard line. Tackled there by Jeff Kelly.
You'll have offsides on number 90, Chuck Smith.
I'm laughing every time I look at Bill Cowher. I mean, we watched him age on Monday. He's just 42 years old. Let's get the call from Winter here. Number 90 offside. Question is, do they want to take the penalty or the play?
Offside.
They'll take the penalty, I think.
Number 90 of the defense. A 5-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
Now, we were talking to Bill Cowher yesterday, and we were wondering, how do you spend your day off or before the game? He said he went to his daughter's soccer game. So I said, now, are you a soccer dad where you're out there? And he goes, oh, yeah, I'm yelling you. Could you imagine being the coach and watching this guy on the sideline screaming at you? Screaming at the team? How would you feel? Would you be intimidated?
He'd get your attention.
He sure would.
Second down and 9 up at the 17. Stewart throws, and that is caught near the marker. The first down marker. No, it's not. Hines Ward caught it, but he's out of bounds. One official checks with the other.
And Hines Ward has got to keep his feet in bounds. He's got to realize where he is. Kordell Stewart audibling to this play, seeing a defense and reading it, something that we don't see quite often. But Hines Ward has got to keep his feet in bounds. I know it was close. And let's take a look at this right here. 1, 2. He's got them both down.
Well, the question becomes now, do the Steelers want to challenge?
Yes, they do.
And they will.
Because the fans have told them. They showed it up on the Jumbotron here at the stadium, and everybody saw it on the scoreboard. And so now,
and as they were seeing it, every coach now has somebody upstairs who's also watching the replay who can say challenge it. And so you get 2 challenges.
The pass is incomplete.
what I like here is the referee actually going to the officials. And I think they should converse right there, Alan, and find out exactly what. So let's see if Hines work. He has possession.
Right foot is down and starting to come up. Left foot is clearly in.
Right.
The officials, the head linesman and the side judge, looked at each other, and you saw the head linesman check with the side judge, who actually made the call that it was out of bounds. In the meantime, Cowher will challenge it.
Well, from our viewpoint out, it's indisputable, right? And
yes, I would I'd reverse the ruling, though the right foot begins to come up. The bottom line of this will be it'll either be 3rd down and 9 or 3rd down and 1. If they don't reverse it, the Steelers will be charged with a timeout.
Well, I don't know how you couldn't reverse it.
After what we've seen this year?
Yeah, but
are you kidding?
Easy right here. I'm telling you right now. That's down, and that is down. So Hines Ward does his job. I got on him a little bit thinking that he didn't.
Right.
But he certainly did. And now it's up to the referee to do his job and overturn it. This shouldn't take this long, should it? We've already made the decision, Al.
These days?
We've already made the decision, so.
It's supposed to be 90 seconds. They had two different looks.
I would think that if he knew it now, Ron Winter should have already seen this. Let's take a look at this. Oh, come on. That's easy.
Well, the only thing he could be looking at for this length, I'm saying, the only thing he's looking at is whether he has possession with the right foot down. Clearly, the left foot is inbounds. I mean, I can't think of any other reason why he'd be looking at something this long.
Well, maybe he's watching a good movie over there or something.
He could also be looking. The other thing he could actually be looking at is he's made the decision already, and they want to see exactly where his forward progress was, because it might be enough for a first down. It's very close to the marker. That's the other thing they could be looking at right now as well. So it's possible he's already made the call to reverse it. Now they just want to check to see exactly where the ball should be spotted. In any event,
this is way over 90 seconds, and actually we just showed a shot of the box, and you can see the guy there with the stopwatch. And
in Pittsburgh, time stands still. Four minutes since the end of the play.
They don't seem to be in too much of a hurry, do they? With all this discussion, I got to believe that they're going to move it. They wouldn't be sitting there if they weren't going to overturn it. They're going to overturn it and they'll move it.
And checking with the man holding the down marker.
After review, the pass is caught inbounds. The ball is out of bounds at the 25-yard line. The result of the play is 3rd down and 1. Pittsburgh is not charged with a timeout.
Well, they got it right. It took a little longer than it should have, but at least they got it right. And I figured it out 2 minutes ago. Well, I have to think that Winter did as well. I don't think there was any question that he was going to reverse it. He just wanted to see exactly where Ward went out of bounds, because it was close to the first down marker. So it's 3rd down and 1 now at the 25-yard line.
Perfect spot to make the ball to Jerome Bettis and go up top.
Yeah, well, Pittsburgh, a great short yardage team, mainly thanks to Bettis, and that's who gets the ball, and that's exactly why they're a great short yardage team, behind a block by the fullback John Whitman.
And you could see Jerome Bettis feeling real good, and watch Whitman's lead block right here. The key to a fullback. You don't get a lot of stats, Al. But this is the dirty work. Somebody's got to do it.
Yeah, you're more like a 6th offensive lineman.
You really are, and especially in this offense. You're not going to get the ball much. And when you have a big back behind you, and this is the way that they want to run their offense, you get paid to block.
First down to the 31-yard line. Kordell chased. And turns what might have been a loss into a pretty good gain. Run out of bounds finally by Hall.
So difficult to stop this type of spontaneity, especially after a play action fake, and he doesn't see the blitz, comes out of it, and all of a sudden realizes that the blitz is in his face and has the speed to get around the corner. That's the added dimension of Kordell Stewart, and if he can do that and do it effectively as opposed to trying to force it, then he becomes that dangerous weapon in the passing game that they're hoping for.
2nd and 5 up at the 36-yard line. 4 minutes to go in the 3rd. Back to the bus again, and Bettis brings it out to the 40-yard line. Another 3rd and short coming up. A reminder this week, politically incorrect late night each night right here on ABC.
Have you done that yet?
I am always politically incorrect.
But no, have you done that show
I
yet?
have not, sir.
I want to watch that show.
When I do it?
When you do it, man.
I will let you know. I'm asking for
Bill's probably called you for that, hasn't he?
I'm asking for double scale.
He has called you for that, hasn't he?
I have an unlisted number.
Oh, I'd love to see you on that show.
One of these days. 3rd and 1, and the Steelers now have to call a timeout. Action up front, but I believe they were able to get the timeout called before the penalty.
All kinds of confusion on this play.
Timeout. Pittsburgh.
After
their first team timeout.
With a 3rd and 1 upcoming. The Steelers at the 40, leading by 13. Through. Kordell Stewart tonight. One thing that has always distinguished him from a lot of other quarterbacks is the ability to turn losses into gains, and a little example of that right here. And that a pass, and now on 3rd down and 1, they give the ball to Bettis, and he crosses the 40 but comes up short of the 1st down. Normally that's money in the bank when Bettis gets the ball on 3rd and 1, but not here. Big stop for the Falcons.
Oh, man. Give the Falcon defense credit. I mean, they've hung all game long. And if it were not for a bad interception early in the game, I mean, this game could be 6-0 here. But you can see right here, in short yardage defense and goal line defense, it's all about leverage. Who gets under who? And the defensive line for the Atlanta Falcons won that battle.
Along with Jeff Kelly, the rookie out of Kansas State, in the middle.
It's all about getting underneath and pushing guys back and allowing your linebackers to have a clean shot at the ball carrier.
Josh Miller, whose last punt was magnificent. 54 yards and angled where Dwight couldn't run it back from the sideline. Dwight standing back at his 20. And the left footer booms another one. But it's a good bounce for Atlanta because it winds up in the end zone.
What a punt.
60 gross, 40 net. But Atlanta makes a key stop. With 1:48 left in the 3rd, they have it at the 20. 13-0 Steelers. If you've never been to Pittsburgh, that is a magnificent sight. I mean, clearly from the air it is, but from the ground as well. When you come through the Fort Pitt Tunnel, and the minute you come out of the tunnel and you see downtown Pittsburgh, it is spectacular.
Absolutely.
At the confluence of the Allegheny and the Monongahela rivers, where they form the Ohio. And right now the Atlanta Falcons trying to get out of the confluence.
Swimming upriver
with a victory, but down 13-0 they are. And it's Tim Dwight with Chandler trying to lay down a block, and Dwight picks up 4 yards.
And now look who makes the tackle. Number 93, Joel Steed, the nose tackle, who has to spin around in the middle of it and come out of nowhere to catch Tim Dwight.
Dwight is 180 pounds and a sprint champion. Steed is 308 pounds and a stud.
Let's watch Chris Chandler to see what kind of block he makes. Nice try. Not bad. I'll give him an A for effort.
I do too.
An A for courage also. And an A for being smart and staying down low.
Right. B- for efficiency. Not bad. 2nd down and 6.
I would have taken 3 A's and a B on my report card.
Me too. Chandler throws, and it is caught, but was it inbounds up at the 34-yard line as Terrence Mathis hauls it in, but no, he was on the chalk. Incomplete.
Almost every time in the second half that they've dropped back the pass, Chris Chandler has been hit. And you have to give credit to that front four, that defense of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and it's just a battle royale up there in front with the 5 guys. And there's Steve DeBerg, the quarterback coach of the Atlanta Falcons.
And until very recently, an active player.
He told me it was great last year. He made a lot of money and he didn't have to work. except for 2 games. This year as a coach, he's got to be in there for about 16 hours a day.
3rd down and 6. Chandler throws. It's caught by Mathis. Mathis almost single-handedly keeping them in the game up to the 36-yard line as Mathis pulls in his 8th grab of the evening.
Nice by the offensive line of the Falcons, giving Chris Chandler some extra time and allowing Terrence Mathis to make his underneath cuts and to get open and to get past the linebackers.
That ties Mathis with Andre Rison, most career catches in a Falcon uniform, 423. 1st and 10 from the 36-yard line. Oxendine picking up 5 up to the 41-yard line. And that should do it for the 3rd quarter. So the Falcons trying to mount something, trying to get back into the game as the 3rd period ends with the score Pittsburgh 13, Atlanta nothing. And Monday Night Football from the Steel City returns at this marquee ABC stations.
Okay, get ready.
4th quarter begins in Pittsburgh. Al Michaels with Boomer Esiason and Leslie Visser. The Pittsburgh Steelers coming in with a record of 3-3, leading 13-0 over the 1-5 Falcons. Atlanta begins at its own 41 on 2nd down 5. Chris Chandler throws a duck over the middle. It may have been tipped, intended for Mathis, and Earl Holmes levels Chandler.
Hits him right in the ribs as he delivers the football. And you talk about courage, you talk about players getting up, and he takes one whale of a whack to the ribs. And take a look at this. And when you think about courage of a quarterback, you stand in there, you know you're going to get hit. And Earl Holmes is 6'2", 250 pounds, Al. It's a good sign for the Falcons. He got up to live to play another down.
Yes, he did. And that's been the problem with Chandler, not only getting him in to start a game, but to finish a game. 3rd down and 5 from the 41-yard line, and Chandler fires over the middle, and Mathis couldn't make the catch. It was there. He had gotten by Washington, but he knew Shields was in the neighborhood, and he got sandwiched and dropped it.
And you could tell that Terrence knew that the safety was on his way, and not an easy thing to do, to come down the middle of the field like this and be close to the safety and try to make a play right here.
There is a marker down.
That's two tonight for Terrence that he should have had.
Number 30 of the defense.
Ooh.
A 5-yard penalty.
And a first down. Big holding call on Chad Scott. Automatic first down up at the 46-yard line. So instead of 3rd and long, it's 1st and 10 at the 46-yard line. Chandler, this time good protection, goes deep downfield and nobody is home. Intended for Tim Dwight, but 2 Steelers made sure he didn't get behind either of them.
Now, just watching the Steeler defense out, they're very well coached. They're all in the right spots. They hustle to the football. It's a credit to their defensive coordinator, Jim Haslett. There he is. He's one of the young guns in the NFL. I'm sure in a few years he'll be a head coach somewhere. His team loved playing for him. He's in their face. And again, as Bill Cowher told us, he coaches about pride and making sure that these guys on this defensive side of the football hold up their end of the bargain.
2nd down and 10 from the 46-yard line. Chandler throwing underneath, caught by Mathis. No blocking, no help, no gain. Tackled by Emmons. Steeler defense great through the years. The steel curtain, of course, you go back to the Knoll years, and also when you look at Bill Cowher, he is a defensive-oriented coach. That's his background. He was a linebacker as a player. He was a defensive coordinator in Kansas City.
A special teams guy when he played. And,
sure.
And that's where he comes from. That's his background. That's what he feels like his strengths are, special teams and defense.
Seemingly one of the few coaches these days not calling his own plays.
Right.
3rd down and 9. He leaves that to Gilbride. Chandler pressured again, sacked again. That's Jason Gilden. And Chandler has now gone down 6 times tonight.
Jason Gilman just running right around Ephraim Salam, the big right tackle for the Atlanta Falcons. Chris Chandler, no chance. That's speed at its finest, and when you have defensive ends that are able to do this, and you can see Salam get off the ball late. Hardest thing for a tackle in the NFL to do on the road is to hear the snap count.
45 yards worth of sacks tonight for the Steeler defense. Straczynski's kick. Hawkins calls for the fair catch. There is a marker down as it's hauled in at the 17-yard line as Cowher squints out toward Winter. And it's a hold against Pittsburgh.
He's a beauty. Look at him.
Well, that's the second holding call that has enabled Atlanta, in effect, to remain in this game.
They've been hanging around, Alan. It just seems to me like something's going to happen here. A fumble, an interception is going to keep them right in the game. And
well, the hold, the good news for Pittsburgh is the hold comes
after the punt
on the run back.
Right.
It's a post-possession foul.
Number 56 of the return team penalized half the distance to the goal. It'll be first down.
Mike Vrabel.
Please reset the game clock to 13:51.
Now, when the NFL went to the point where they would announce who the penalties are against, the players are just like, oh, this is going to kill us, because these coaches like Bill Cowher go right in your face and tell you never again.
As he will while we go to commercial.
The golf world mourns
the Pittsburgh Steelers, after the penalty and the punt, have the ball at their own 9-yard line. 1st and 10 as Stewart retreats, goes deep, and it is caught by Blackwell, who got position on Buchanan all the way out to the 34-yard line, a 26-yard gain.
Talking to Kordell Stewart before the game, and I had mentioned exactly what Ray Buchanan had said about him reading and looking at his receivers all the way down the field. Kordell remarked saying, oh, I'm glad he gave me that tip. And when you pick players out, innocently maybe, if Ray Buchanan did that, you have to be careful because they're going to go after you.
Blackwell beats him, big first down. Bettis for a gain of 1 up to the 36.
But what that showed me on that first down play down there in the tight defensive zone for them was that Kevin Gilbride and Bill Cowher are gaining more and more confidence in Kordell Stewart to allow him to throw a drop back pass that deep in their own zone with a 13-point lead this late in the game.
Normally you would think he'd just give it to Bettis,
right,
and then throw on 3rd down, 2nd down and 9. Maybe Buchanan was thinking the same thing from the 36-yard line. Stewart, flag is thrown by the umpire, so you can look for offensive holding. And Buchanan comes up to make the tackle.
Last week against the Cincinnati Bengals, Kordell Stewart missed 4 or 5 of those plays where he had guys wide open. Instead of winning 17-3, they might have been able to win 31, 34-3. You know, and it's kind of a frustrating thing for a coach, a play caller, knowing that you have a good defense, but you're not real sure about your passing game. And I think that's where the Steelers are right now.
Ron Winter hopefully will give us this call before Winter.
Holding. Number 68 of the offense. A 10-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
It's pretty good, Al.
Brendan Sy. Boomer, I've only been here 14 years.
Yeah, I know.
Line now and then.
You're an old pro.
Yes, right.
You have experience.
Yes. Veteran. KG veteran.
Right. Salty veteran, too.
Yes. Oh, yes. Stewart out of the gun now. 2nd and 19 from the 25. Kordell under pressure and getting through for the sack is Chuck Smith. First time tonight that Stewart has been sacked. Smith able to come through, tunneling through, to just get a piece of Kordell and send him down.
You see, he's right up top, going around number 72, Wayne Gandy again. You know what's remarkable for me, Al, is that the defensive ends in this league now have become so strong and so quick and so fast. Quarterbacks have to make quick decisions, try to take the pressure off the offensive line.
3rd down and 31. Smith would be a prime example of that. Stewart going deep, and that time Buchanan with the coverage. Hines Ward, the intended receiver, looking around for a flag, and there is none.
Well, again, hey, kudos to the defense of the Atlanta Falcons, keeping the game close, and that time Ray Buchanan able to smile after this particular play, but close. What do you think?
Incidental contact.
I think it's a good no call.
Yep. You start calling those, you can call too many of them.
Just about everything.
Josh Miller averaging within 46 yards per boot tonight. And the Falcons have both Winslow Oliver and Tim Dwight back deep. Miller's kick this time is not a particularly good one. And it goes out of bounds near midfield. So Atlanta trying to stay in the game, but still trying to get something going. 13-0 Pittsburgh.
You know, Kenny and I never compare.
The Atlanta Falcons have the ball at their own 44-yard line with 11:35 left in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, and Dan Reeves is arguing with the officials about where the spot of this ball is. After Miller kicks the ball, it looks like to us that the ball went out of bounds somewhere around the 45 to the 50, meaning that you would think down there that they'd spot it on the other side of the 50, right, on the Pittsburgh side.
The 45, the 50 of Pittsburgh. Now watch where the ball lands. The ball lands about 5 yards out of bounds at the Atlanta 45. So you know, I mean, geometry tells you the ball has to go out well before that spot at about the 50-yard line, let's say. In the meantime, they spotted at the Atlanta 44. So that's the reason Dan's a little nuts right now.
He certainly has a reason to be aggravated. I mean, this is I don't know who the side judge on this side was, but certainly, and you can see there's
Joe DeCamillis, who's Dan's not only special teams coach, but his son-in-law.
Right.
And that was a bogus spot. Well, Joe's right, Dan's right. That cost the Falcons anywhere between, let's say, 6 and 11 yards.
Right. But still, they're in this game now. I mean, 11:35 to go. This is not
over, but they've got to show something here offensively. And Chandler's going to go for 6 right here. And Mathis, the intended receiver, who else, broken up by Dwayne Washington.
And let's face it, Al, this is where they missed Tony Martin. Tony Martin was their down the field stretch guy, and Terrence Mathis, as we've seen tonight, he's the sideline. He operates well on the sideline. He operates well in space, and certainly across the middle, but this is not his forte, is not to get around and past these guys. He's a good, solid route runner. Tony Martin was a guy that was able to stretch the field, and that's why the Miami Dolphins thought of him as so valuable for their offense.
Well, Atlanta passed on Martin because he had a pending drug trial. Could have wound up in jail. They didn't pay him the bonus that they had to pay him by a certain date. Miami took a chance, and Miami gambled and won. And Atlanta lost. An Oxendine is stopped at the 45-yard line, and flags, all kinds of flags come in, 3 of them at the end of the play.
And you're going to have a personal foul by Lee Flowers, number 41, who was going at it with Tim Dwight in the secondary. Well after the whistle. If it's not for the penalties and the stupid plays by the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, the Falcons don't have a chance.
Unnecessary roughness. Number 41 of the defense. Penalized 15 yards and a first down.
That's Atlanta's 5th first down tonight by way of penalty.
Well, here's why Flowers gets upset. Dwight goes after his knee. which is perfectly legal. It was a perfectly legal block by Tim Dwight. And, you know, Flowers, who likes to light up players in the backfield and hit receivers across the middle, has got to calm down.
Oxendine to the 38. I mean, think of it this way with the Atlanta Falcons tonight: 13 total first downs, 1 on the ground, 7 via the air, and 5 on penalties.
It's like I was saying, without the penalties of the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, how bad does the Atlanta Falcon offense look?
Second down and 6. Steelers tonight penalized 7 times for 80 yards, in effect keeping Atlanta within shouting distance. And Chandler under pressure and has to heave that one away. And winds up on his back. Pressured again by Orpheus Roy. And let's go to Leslie Visser. Leslie?
Al, the Atlanta offense could also use Jamal Anderson, who, as you know, tore his ACL early in the season against Dallas and is out for the whole year. Well, I saw Jamal on Friday night in Chicago. He's doing well, although he's lost 20 pounds. He's not sleeping well. He was there for the Aridi Awards to honor Walter Payton. He said thinking about Walter Payton in a fight for his life, as you know, awaiting a liver transplant, has given Jamal, although he's lost in the season, a sense of proportion. Al?
Thank you, Leslie. Third down and 6 as Chandler throws. It is caught. Atlanta able to convert, and that's Chris Callaway, who had been starting up until tonight when Dwight gets the start. Callaway makes his first catch of the game to move the chains.
And what I like about that, Al, is the offensive line gave Chris Chandler time, and he, being poised, sat in that pocket and gave Chris Callaway an opportunity to work and to get open. Kordell Stewart did not do this earlier in the game when he had Hines Ward on a similar pattern. That's the difference between somebody who's been in the league for as long as Chris Chandler has as opposed to Kordell Stewart.
First and 10 at the 26-yard line. Taking to Oxendine, pressure again. Chandler's already been sacked 6 times. And this one will probably be recorded as a sack. It looks like he loses a half yard. And Chandler paying the price again. This time Carlos Emmons takes him down.
Now there's another difference between Chris Chandler and Kordell Stewart. He's not getting away from anybody. And again, we documented how he's had hamstring problems. He gets up limping now. He's got that normal grimace on his face that he seems to have every week. So it's nothing new to Atlanta Falcon fans.
It's the grimace of any quarterback, I think, who's been sacked 7 times in one evening.
I've had that grimace many a time now.
And there is Tony Graziani, who is the number 2 quarterback. Danny Cannell is number 3, the ex-Giant, at second down and 11 at the 27-yard line. Here they come again. This time the protection's good, and making the catch at the 12-yard line is Tim Dwight. Got position on Chan Scott, holds it in, first down Atlanta.
If there's been one problem with the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, it's been the ability for these corners to cover outside one-on-one. Tonight we've seen that Terrence Mathis has done a nice job on the sideline, and now Tim Dwight. But it all goes back to giving Chris Chandler time to set up in the pocket and read the defense.
First and 10 at the 12-yard line. Deepest penetration of the night for Atlanta. Hands barred to the 7. It'll be second and 5. You're looking at an Atlanta team that has not scored a touchdown in the 4th quarter in each of their last 4 games, and a Pittsburgh defense that has not allowed a touchdown in each of its last 4 games.
But I think you have to give credit to the Atlanta defense, Al, for keeping this game close. The conservative play calling on the part of the Pittsburgh Steelers to allow it to stay close. And then Chris Chandler and the offense just battling along and hanging in there to give themselves a chance.
And the penalties against the Pittsburgh defense. Second down and 5 at the 7-yard line. The ground again. This time it is Oxendine to the 5-yard line, setting up a very key third down and 2.
I'll tell you, Chris Chandler is limping out there, and Dan Reeves and Chris Chandler had a talk this week, and Dan Reeves told him, he said, hey, look, I need you to stay in the game. So if there's a guy that has pressure now on his shoulders, it's Chris Chandler. He left last week with flu-like symptoms. He's limping around right now, and it looks like he's hurt. And you never know what a person's threshold of pain or what the problems are. You just hope, you pray that there isn't so much pressure on him that he's doing something stupid right now and staying on the field.
Graziani loosening up. 3rd down and 2 at the 5-yard line as Chandler came to the line gingerly and then throws, and it is caught by Mathis.
Dwayne Washington wants a penalty. Feels like Clarence Mathis actually pushed off, but simple play right here, Al. When Dwayne Washington and Mathis are locked up one-on-one, what you try to do is to throw it back to shoulder and let the receiver adjust to it. The receivers are going to get away with push-offs in this type of tight coverage. Take a look at this right here. Mathis just tries to get on top. Washington's not even looking for the ball until right there, and Mathis pushes off. So certainly it was a penalty. And Terrence got away with one, but a nice throw by Chris Chandler.
Extra point by Morton Anderson is good. And so this drive began with Atlanta disputing the spotting of the ball. They start from the 44, go 56, and are right back in it. 13-7 Pittsburgh. That extra point by Morton Anderson extends his streak. He has now scored in 245 consecutive games, an NFL record. But when you think about it, he came very close to having it end tonight the way things were going for Atlanta. With time running out, they're able to get back into the game with 6:42 remaining on the touchdown. The extra point makes it 13-7. And Anderson's kickoff is a short one, fielded up at the 11-yard line by Troy Edwards, and the rookie wide receiver out of Louisiana Tech brings it back to the 22. Stewart and company back to work with 6.5 to go in the 4th. Six and a half to go here in Pittsburgh. More action next weekend on ESPN Sunday night. The Tampa Bay Bucks go into Pontiac to face the Lions. And we really have a beauty next Monday night to Lambeau Field. Always a treat. Mike Holmgren comes back to Green Bay, brings his Seahawks in after the big one against Buffalo against the Green Bay Packers. Routing San Diego yesterday. Can't wait to get to Lambeau. Speaking of Seattle, by the way, great story in the paper today.
Oh, we had great news.
Joy to our hearts.
My son Gunnar suffers from cystic fibrosis. I pick up the paper, find out that Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation gave $20 million to the fight against cystic fibrosis. So on behalf of all parents of cystic fibrosis children and patients all across the country, thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Gates.
Great news as
Absolutely.
Bettis takes it out to the 28. Gates is the longtime partner of Paul Allen, now the owner of the Seattle Seahawks.
Al, it's been such a fulfilling effort to try to accomplish the cure of this disease, and when you get people like Bill Gates and his wife involved, it just gives you so much credibility. It gives you energy, and it energizes all those people out there that are trying to conquer this thing. And I know that from my family, we were just overjoyed when we heard that. So again, I can't say enough good things about that, and all the thousands of other volunteers across the country that help us try to beat this disease.
When we bring Gunnar out on the road again, second down
in
and 3.
Minnesota.
Good. This is Bettis taking the ball up to the 32. So they're giving it to Bettis, not only to move the chains right now, but to take time off the clock. And Jerome, who loves Monday night, he is 8 for 8 on Monday Night Football. There it is. His 8 appearances on this package have each resulted in 100 yards or more in every game. Tonight, 75 to this point. First down from the 32-yard line.
This is the point in the game now where a great running game is just absolutely essential if you want to put away a game, but it also takes the pressure off of your young quarterback, Kordell Stewart. And this is a series now that they've come out and they said, you know, we need to run it because we don't want to throw it because we don't feel good about the way we're throwing.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 85 of the offense, a 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
That's Mitch Lyons. Monday Night Football is being brought to you by Chrysler, giving you back the romance of driving. Miller Lite, taste a true Pilsner. UPS, the official express delivery sponsor of the NFL, and Mortgage.com, the easiest way home. Pittsburgh tonight penalized 8 times for 85 yards. First and 15. Kordell taken off. Slides to a stop at the 33-yard line.
Now, I don't know if that was a quarterback draw or not, but you could sense that when he stopped and he looked downfield and there was nobody open and he saw a hole, he was going to take it. That's because there's a lack of confidence in the passing game right now, and they're going to have to work on that. It seems to me like they're just trying to hold on. And when you try to hold on in this league, Al, other teams are good enough, no matter how injured they are good enough to beat you if you give them any ray of hope. And that's what the Steelers have done for the Falcons tonight.
And we see it week after week. 2nd down and 10 at the 32-yard line. Blitz, pick it up. Stewart throws. Caught. Hines Ward taken down by Buchanan up at the 47-yard line. 1st down, Steelers.
Big throw by Kordell Stewart again going after Ray Buchanan. And you could see Hines Ward and Ray Buchanan going at it, jawing at each other. And when you single yourself out like this, they're going to come after you. But again, much like Chris Chandler did with Mathis in the end zone, same type of throw. Versus bump and run coverage, underthrow it and let your guy come back and make the play for you.
1st and 10 up at the 48-yard line. Back to the ground. Back to Bettis, who almost never fumbles. And of all times to fumble the ball, he gives it back to Atlanta. And the Falcons have it at the 47-yard line.
And you could take a look at the sidelines, Al, and you could just see the momentum switching. The offense for the Atlanta Falcons is already on the field, and the defense now for the Steelers is just kind of shuffling out there, walking out there. But
his first fumble of the season, a guy who has fumbled only twice in his last 24 games, or in effect twice in a season and a half.
You can't take the simple things for granted. A handoff like that, it looked like Kordell put it right in his stomach, right through his arms. And I wonder if Jerome was looking where he was going before receiving the football.
So again, the Steelers put it in the hands of their defense. Marty Carter came up with a fumble recovery. 1st down, Atlanta at the 47-yard line. Chandler, gimpy-legged, throws, caught, Mathis, 1st and goal at the 6-yard line. Beats Dwayne Washington.
What a throw by Chris Chandler. Great job of blocking again. And Al, how many times have we seen it over and over in the NFL where a team just kind of takes it easy, thinks they have it in the bag, and gives another team the opportunity. Right here, play action. Chris Chandler limping out there. Throws a nice post down the middle, a down and in pattern by Terrence Mathis, and throws the ball away from Dwayne Washington.
1st and goal, Atlanta at the Pittsburgh 7-yard line. Back to the ground. Oxendine, and Oxendine takes it to the 1. So no ground game at all tonight for Atlanta. And now when they need a big gain, that's a big gain from the 7 to the 1.
When momentum shifts in this league, Al, it is monumental, and you could just see in the body language of these two teams. And watch Oxendine break the tackles, and all of a sudden, crisis has set in on the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Ball is inside the 1. Atlanta tonight, 22 rushes for 50 yards. But a monumental one there. 2nd and goal. Christian stopped short of the goal line. The big fullback brought down, no gain. 3rd and goal, and that'll take us to the 2-minute warning.
Woo. And again, down here, it's all about leverage, Al. Staying low. Those defensive linemen of the Pittsburgh Steelers have to get underneath.
2 nervous minutes to go in Pittsburgh. 2 minutes left. 4th quarter. The Pittsburgh Steelers, if you could have a comfortable 13-0 lead, they had it. But all of a sudden, it's 13-7. And it's 3rd down and goal for the Atlanta Falcons inside the 1-yard line. In a tight formation.
Nice way to run a play-action pass to your right.
Kozlowski in motion. On the ground. Christian can't get there. Levon Kirkland. So they've run Christian twice after Oxendine had taken them from the 7 to the 1, and it's 4th and goal.
And what I like here is the Steelers are calling timeout just in case the Falcons score. Good clock management by Bill Cowher and and his coaching staff. Again, the hardest foot in all of football to make, especially against this defense. Take a look at number 99 right here, and watch how a middle linebacker fills a hole. Takes on the block of Oxendine, who does not do a good job of taking him on. He runs over the fullback and makes the tackle in the backfield. That's a big-time play by a linebacker down here in a goal line situation when money's on the line.
4th and goal.
I really thought that they were going to play action pass down there on 3rd down.
I would have thought the only thing that mitigates against it is Chandler's lack of mobility. I mean, clearly trying to play through the hamstring pull.
Right. But if he's right-handed and they're on the left hash, if they do it to the right, that gives them an extra 5 yards or so to play with on that side of the field.
Well, if you're going to do it now, you do it. It's 4th down and goal.
They'll be looking for it now.
Signal from an official yet, and no touchdown. He doesn't make it, but the one thing at this point is that the Steelers are going to start from their 1, and Atlanta has all of its timeouts, and they'll take all 3 of them. And if they can stop them without a first down, Pittsburgh will be forced to punt, and Atlanta should get the ball at midfield or closer.
Now you look at this right here. If Oxendine stays outside, he has a chance. But that is defense at its finest down here, staying lower than the offensive team, gang tackling and pushing them back.
Now Stewart on a sneak. Atlanta will take a timeout. Their first. 2 to go. It'll be 2nd down and 8. A reminder that after the game, you can tune into ESPN's Sports Center Monday Night Football postgame show with live reports and analysis. Plenty to analyze in this game tonight. And a reminder that on Wednesday, Halloween rears its ugly head on an all-new Drew Carey show Wednesday at 9 Eastern, 8 Central on ABC.
When you have only one fullback on the roster, which is Bob Christian, and they were handing him the ball down there, you're asking your halfback, Ken Oxendine, to lead. Oxendine's, his 230, he's a nice sized guy, but to take on Levon Kirkland down there, he's not known for his blocking. He's known more for his running.
2nd down and 8. Now the Steelers here, if they don't gain very much yardage on this play, will have a 3rd down upcoming. Clearly Atlanta takes a timeout, and then the Steelers have to think about taking an intentional safety.
Right.
Better to kick the ball from the 20-yard line, a free kick, than to punt out of your end zone. 2nd and 8. First things first from the 3-yard line. Bettis. And Bettis is able to break it out to the 8-yard line. And now Atlanta forced to take a timeout in a situation where Pittsburgh will have a 3rd down and short 3 or long 2.
The other reason you take if you get to the point where you want to take a safety, the other reason you would do that is so you don't have to worry about it getting blocked. And there are so many different situations that can happen here. But again, you can see right now this is where they want to go with it. It's Jerome Bettis cutting back. He's nifty for a big man as well, and you can see him breaking tackles. Great shots by Kenny Wolf and Craig Janoff, our producer and director again. And they tell the story, don't they?
Every week.
Absolutely every week.
Just for the last 14 years, that's all.
You in those 14 years.
Hey, you were a 14-year vet, weren't you?
I was. Yes, I was.
3rd and 3. Chandler just hopeful of a chance to get back in the game. Resting that gimpy Gam. 3rd and a short 3 from the 8.
Think they play action now and get Kordell outside?
Yes.
You do, huh? Yeah, they do. Of course they would throw it. You got him. You got him. First
Stewart.
down.
Down he goes. Timeout Atlanta. Their final one, and now Miller is forced to punt, and Atlanta should get the ball in relatively decent field position, but with nary a timeout.
Al, you heard me saying throw it, you have him, and he had John Whitman right in front of him. And it's confusing me why he wouldn't throw the football right here. There was nobody around. You and I knew what they were doing, but obviously the Atlanta Falcons didn't know what they were doing. And take a look right here. He comes out. Whitman is right there. Nobody around him. Just lob it. Now, those are plays that I had seen on the film with Kordell Stewart. He was having trouble making. He was throwing those balls on the run, throwing it at the feet of the guys, and he looked to me as if he was uncomfortable doing that.
He almost looked like Chuck Knobloch trying to throw to first base. He's afraid to throw it.
You know, it's a lot of there is something to that. There is the mental block of not feeling comfortable about throwing that ball, and he's done this in the past where he's actually thrown it at the feet of other people, of other guys, but he should have thrown that ball and completed it, and the game would have been over.
In the long and storied history of this franchise, take a look at that. They have never lost a home game when leading by 13 or more points going into the fourth quarter.
I see the Falcons actually have 10 guys up around the line of scrimmage.
Let's see if they take the intentional safety here. The Steelers, by the way, have been around only since 1933. And Miller, he'll take the safety. So you can afford to do that. He danced around a little bit to take as much time off the clock as he could. And we're down to 120. So Miller gets a free kick,
which is a huge play for him, and he's had a pretty decent night up until his last punt.
Huge play for a lot of people around the country just there. You know what I mean,
yes,
don't you?
Yes, I do. Now you can see here he's just trying to bide some time, try to get some time off the clock. But I can't say enough good things about Bill Cowher, the way he managed the clock at the end of the game here. But again, to go back to Kordell Stewart, he had an opportunity to seal this game away. And you have to wonder what he's thinking and what he's seeing. The only thing that I could think of is that he probably didn't feel like he had a direct shot. He had to loft it over the guy that was in between him and Whitman. But that's not a terribly difficult play for a quarterback. If they lose this game, they'll look not only at that play, but they'll also look at the fumble. But whew.
Well, the Steelers had things as well in hand as a team with a 13-0 lead could have them. Atlanta had really shown nothing. No running game, not much in the passing game apart from Terrence Mathis making a lot of catches for 10 or 12-yard pickups. And then all of a sudden some defensive penalties on the part of the Steelers. 156-yard drive makes it 13-7. They get down inside the 1 and can't convert. Now the safety is 13-9, and Miller will get a free kick from the 20-yard line.
Now realize this is not an easy thing for a punter to do. They're usually used to kicking it on time with guys coming at them. And with Tim Dwight back there, anything's possible for the Atlanta Falcons. One of the better return men in all the NFL. Nice kick.
Beauty. Tremendous kick to the 9-yard line. Dwight swinging to the outside. And Dwight finally run out of bounds into the Steeler bench up at the 37-yard line. So they have to go 63 yards in 72 seconds without a timeout.
Well, this is where Chris Chandler can still work the middle of the field the first couple times. Most defenses will give you that. The longer the quarterback is back there and without a rush, the further back the second line of defenders get. So there will be some room for underneath throws here to allow those guys to make some catches and runs. It doesn't look as if the Steelers are playing that prevent defense. It looks like they're right up on the line of scrimmage ready to come after them.
Out of the gun, first down from the 36-yard line. Chandler throws and out, caught by Mathis. Big night for Mathis into Steeler territory, out of bounds at the 48-yard line with 1:07 to go. And Mathis tonight has caught 12 passes for 166 yards.
Chris Chandler takes another pop right as he throws the ball into his leg. And Terrence Mathis is having his way on the sideline. One thing about Chris Chandler, he throws a pretty football. He could read defenses. And if you can give him some time back there, he will pick you apart.
1st and 10 from the 48.
Chandler goes to the other side, caught by Dwight, stays in bounds. Chad Scott able to tackle him before he can get out. Short gain, 3 yards. 2nd and 7 from the 45. From the gun again. And this play whistled dead before its inception. Jason Gilden came across. Was he induced is the question.
Was Ephraim Salam induced? That's what Salam is complaining about, saying that Gilden started and that's what caused him to move. And the rule was changed a few years ago to avoid this particular situation for the offense on the road.
It'll either be 2nd and 12 from the 50.
And that's what they're trying to discuss.
Or 2nd and 2 from the 40.
It looks like they're going to call it actually on Gilden. They will. And that's the right call. And that is the right call.
He was the inducer.
Right. And on the road out, one of the reasons they did this.
Neutral zone infraction. Number 92 of the defense. Movement into the neutral zone to cause the offense to false start. A 5-yard penalty. Remains 2nd down.
Offenses have complained for years that tackles have a disadvantage on the road because they cannot hear. And part of the defensive strategy would be able to do that to try to get a offender to move. And that's basically what happened on that particular play. So the right enforcement of the rule.
Now it'll be 2nd down and 2. 9 penalties for Pittsburgh, keeping Atlanta in the game.
Dan Reeves wants 44 seconds on the clock. That's what he's complaining about. And that's why the stoppage here, and the officials are going to try to figure this out. Nope, looks like they're going to leave it at 40.
.40 seconds, no timeouts. 2nd down and 2 at the 40-yard line.
You can hear the Steeler faithful here supporting their defense.
3-man rush. 8 guys in coverage. Dump off underneath. Christian. He's tackled at the 32-yard line. That's a 1st down.
Now you have to stop the clock. You got to down it. Let's go. You got to keep moving.
Chandler getting up to the line, ready to spike it. Taking a lot of time here.
You're going to get it set. So now what you'll have is you'll have 3 plays. He might look to the sideline on one play, but it looks like they're going to have to go to the end zone if they can't get down the sideline.
2nd down and 10.
And you can see Chris Chandler limping out there and hanging in there. His coach told him this week, I need you to stay in the game. And you can see the pain on his face, and he stayed in the game like a trooper tonight. He's been battling. He's been banged around by the Steeler defense all night long, but he's had the will and the courage to stay in the game tonight.
Callaway comes out wide to the left. Dwight in the slot left. Mathis wide right. 2nd down and 10.
He's got to work down here to the left if he can get it.
Chandler for the end zone. Throws into traffic. Caught at the 5 by Dwight.
Let's go.
But can they get down there and spike it? Chandler. He can barely make it down there. Chandler trying to spike it and is able to spike it with 1 play left. Chandler whacking one of the Steelers. Vrabel getting him out of the way. Looking like Chester on Gunsmoke going down the field. I mean, watch Chandler after the play. It's amazing.
Tim Dwight. What a catch going across the middle. And take a look at Chris Chandler running down, trying to get. Well, that should be a penalty right there. I don't understand that.
All right. Barring a defensive penalty, this will be the end of the game here, and a timeout is taken by Pittsburgh. The Steelers take a timeout at the 5-yard line.
Now let's go back to that catch for a moment by Tim Dwight. Knowing that catching the ball down the middle like that with 2 safeties sitting there, what bravery that takes to hold on to that football, and what a nice throw by Chris Chandler.
Well, they put Dwight into the game tonight in the starting lineup in an attempt to help jumpstart this offense. He hadn't done much until that point. 27 yards on that reception. Until then, he caught 2 for 17 yards all night. But he's put Atlanta in a position to win the game with 2 seconds to play.
So now here's the question you're faced with. If you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, do you rush your 4 and sit 7 back, or do you come after them and force them to make a throw? If you're the defensive backs, I think you have to play a little bit off here. You can't get right up on top of them because they'll do that back shoulder throw again.
Game ends here, barring a defensive penalty.
And they have everybody spread out here.
White now resets on the right side.
And they're only rushing 3 guys. Here they come.
Chandler throws over the middle and behind the intended receiver, Dwight.
He had him.
He throws it behind Dwight, and the Pittsburgh Steelers escaped with their lives
And
at the end of this thing.
Escape is the appropriate word because they held on, Al, and they have to do a lot of work on their offense.
Cower and Reeves, and we explained before, an emotional day for both of those fellas. Losing a man very close to them, Robert Fraley. And it ends that way.
Well, you know, if you're Tim Dwight, what you have to do in here, Al, is you're in the zone. You got to kind of sit down in that zone. You can't go running through zones. And what Chris Chandler is trying to do is trying to throw it to his back shoulder low and behind to allow Dwight to make the play. And remember, Tim is a second-year player, and it's not easy at this point in the game to just settle down into that zone and make the play.
Steelers do a Houdini, and Atlanta's frustration mounts. In it till the very end, but Pittsburgh prevails 13-9. Back with a play of the game after this.